Hi everyone and welcome back to another Rookie Mistakes Community Night with me, Ace of Pyrite, brought to you of course by Ubisoft here on the Rainbow Six UK Twitch channel. We have got another absolute cracker lined up for you tonight. Any of you that joined us yesterday will have seen how entertaining that game was. It really did go all the way to 3 maps. We had 12 rounds every map and it was a real belter with Team Western coming out on top. Western, of course, one of the players from Horus. So looking towards tonight, we have got 2 more fantastic teams full of the community members for you. We've got Team Law. Now, Law is one of the players from the Wind and Rain roster. And then we've got JakeSouther, who is one of the players from Swansea University, I believe, plays in the University Siege League. They are in the same format as yesterday. Best of 3. Going to battle it out with a number of members from the community. And let me tell you, there are some very, very familiar names for you on the board tonight. Not just familiar to you guys, but some of them very familiar to me indeed, but we will get to that as we start getting into the game. Looking towards map number 1 here, we will be heading to Germany. We're going on to Clubhouse and we're going to be looking at these operator bans now. We've got a Thermite and Thatcher ban, so that's going to be an interesting one. That's going to keep some of those hard walls intact, but we've still got Hibana and Maverick to be working with those all-important hatches. The first defender to go has been Kaid, and that will be followed by the next one to be chosen by Team Law. Who are they going to go for? Will we get a double electric ban? No, they're going to take out the Echo. Not too much of a surprise on the Echo there. Or the Kaid. Kaid's become a popular ban on Clubhouse to avoid those hatches being defended, so that's going to be pretty much free real estate for the teams now to get in there. If they can get those roamers cleared out and put Hibana or Maverick to work, then they will be having control of those hatches quite easily. So let's have a look through these teams. We've got Team Law on blue. They're going to be defending first of all here. And of course, we've got Law himself. We've got Lady from T3H, who's one of the streamers over there. We've got Hawk, who we saw last night from Horus. We've got my very good friend XR Troika, so a very familiar name coming in there. And we've also got Ralphie, who is another big streamer in the Siege community I'm sure you're aware of. Over on the other team, Team Jake, we've got Jake himself from the University of Swansea, and we also have Snedger, who we saw last night, interestingly, going up against his teammate from last night. He played on the winning side with Hawk. He's going to be going up against him tonight, so, you know, maybe a little bit of needle there. We've also got Jimothy, we've got Demo, another good friend of mine, and one that I am more than familiar with. Demo needs no introduction, I'm sure, to many in the UK Siege community. And then last of all, making up that team, we've got Jeff, who's actually the owner of Barrage Esports, so he's joining as well. Really nice to see a great mix of different characters here. We've got streamers, we've got org owners, we've got casters, we've got players. Really, really great to see that, and we've got a cheeky juice up going on here. We're going to have a nomad knife fight, so it's not going to matter. The melees are one shot, but Hawk on the dot there just looking like he's trying to juice everybody up. I don't know if he thinks he's maybe going to get an advantage out of that. We did have a questionable knife fight yesterday, again with the nomad not being downed by the air jab and just being able to get in there and get that cheeky first kill whilst everybody was still getting up. But we're going to have Jimothy here. I'm sure he's going to be playing this fairly. In it goes. Everybody gets thrown out of the circle. Somebody lets go of a flash grenade. I'm not sure who that was. Jake comes in with 2 great knife kills himself, followed by Jeff as well. But then we're going to have 3 in quick succession for the Team Law boys. So that now leaves us in a 2 versus 1 scenario with Demo running away. He will get the kill onto Ralphie and bring it back to 1 versus 1. He's against Law himself. Can he even goes in to collect the diffuser? Is he possibly going for a plant here? I don't think that's going to be the case. He just wants to choose his ground that he fights on, obviously. He's still going to be running away. Law's trying to bring him down to a corner here. He will move in and Demo gets the kill. So that's going to be the knife fight going in favour of Team Jake to start us off. Now, if we think about what we saw yesterday, we saw the same start on Cafe. We saw Team Western lose the first round to a knife fight, but they went on to win the map 7-5. So this could be a good omen for Team Law. We'll have to see how that one goes. So moving into round number 2, we're going to be looking at CCTV and Cash Room getting, I'm sure, a little bit more serious now. I think the site that was picked there was the bar and stock room. So, you know, obviously they knew they weren't going to have to defend that. Moving into round number 2, it's going to be interesting to see what these teams do. We've got XR Troika picking up the Bandit there. I know he's an absolute menace with that MP5 sometimes. He's probably got the iron sights on it. That wouldn't surprise me too much. He does like those. So we'll see if he can keep that wall close. That's going to be the interesting point here. Can he keep the east wall close? We don't have the thermite. So we don't have Thermite to open things up, but we do have Hibana and we do have Maverick. No surprise, as I mentioned at the beginning of this map, to see those two brought without Thermite available. It's still not going to make it easy. The Hibana pellets are much, much easier to bandit trick. So for anybody who's maybe new to Siege, who hasn't, you know, joined us for any competitive play before, Bandit has batteries that applies an electrical charge to any reinforced wall. You can see XR Troika very kindly just demonstrating that for us now. So anything put on that wall now, any Hibana pellet, anything trying to open that up is going to be destroyed. So usually you have to clear those batteries out and then you can start looking at breaching that wall. But the Hibana pellets are actually much easier to trick. Once they're detonated, you've got plenty of time to place that battery on. Once a thermite charge has started, you're pretty much too late at that point. So going to be interesting to see if they can manage to get this one open. I can see Demo moving in downstairs with the Ash. He's potentially going to move in underneath where that bandit will be playing. He's being very cautious here. He's got his ADS up, but he's certainly looking to get in underneath. You can see the defending players just up above him there, the blue outlines. He's potentially going to use his Ash charge just to move bandit away, but he won't be able to, as Hawk absolutely opens Demo up from the top floor of the garage there, using that walkway to perfection. Demo just wasn't ready for that heat there, so that's going to maybe potentially help Bandit just keep things safe, but Jimothy will get a nasty angle through using the Maverick blowtorch onto XR Troika, so that is Bandit cleared out as well. I think the charges are still in place, and we do have Jeff downed outside, but they have managed to open up some of this wall, so that is going to give a little bit of access. What you're looking to do on this site really is you want to get that wall opened up so that you can gain some control over that exact angle that we're seeing there. Thank you very much for that, Jimothy, helping my description. So you get control over that angle towards the single door from Cash. You then take control of Garage and get somebody up onto the window to look down towards this location where Ralphie's playing, and that sections off the whole room. But Jimothy has got an absolute mountain to climb, because whilst explaining that, we had a double kill coming from low. Jimothy will take his head off, get himself a third. This is going to have to be an ace, but it won't be, as Hawk from the garage, nice and simple, just keeps his position, keeps his angle, waits for Jimothy to move in, and we'll get the kill there. So that is a great first defensive round for Team Jake there, just to level things up. Did that very well. They only allowed a small hole to be opened up in that east wall, so it wasn't straightforward to just move in there. That was well played. Great kills from Jimothy though. Jimothy, for those of you who don't know, is a competitive Siege player. He sort of burst onto the scene a little bit at Epic Land 27, which was the last one that we did. He finished in second place with his team. They were beaten only by Demise, who were very, very good on the day, but Jimothy had a real standout performance at that tournament. Absolutely going off a number of times. We saw a fantastic vertical clutch from him. It's worth going and having a look at some point, you know, see if you can find that, because he opens up the floor in just the perfect locations on border to help his team to the victory on that one. So Jimothy has got a really good map knowledge, really knows what he's doing, and he's an absolute gunner when it comes to the shots, so he is certainly one to watch. I'm sure he's going to have plenty of kills to entertain us. We can see Hawk now on the Valkyrie, just getting himself out and having getting his cams out there, just looking to feed any information back into his team. We're downstairs in Bar and Stock now. Not Bar and Stock, sorry, Church and Arsenal. I'm getting carried away with that first round. The knife fight is just sticking in my mind. We've got a cap cam. We've got Lady from T3H coming in on the cap cam. I always like to see a cap cam. They can be very useful, and it's one of those things that people have stopped sort of checking for a lot of the time, especially now that the lasers aren't as visible. They're actually invisible by the time that the attackers are going to reach them. So something you've really got to be careful of. We can see we're going to have a push from the blue stairs and the stock room area coming in here. Demo getting in there on his drone. I'm sure he's not going to want to soak up an early death like he did last time. He's surely going to be looking for some revenge over Hawk, I'm sure, once he gets in. We've had some great back and forth between the teams today on Twitter. If you've been watching any of these guys' accounts, if not, go and have a look at them, then maybe give them a follow after the match is done. There's been some great stuff going on. XR Triker saying that he's been on the Red Bulls. He's definitely pumped and ready for this one. You see, as casters, we don't get too much of an opportunity to play, so it's always good fun when you get on the other side of the screen as well. We've got Snedger just getting taken out early by Hawk there, so that is going to bring us once again to a quick 5 versus 4 in favour of the defenders there, Team Low. So they're going to be... again, thankful to Hawk, because those first kills can be really, really important. We've got Demo upstairs now looking to clear out any roamers, but as it is, Hawk has moved himself back downstairs. Now Jake has managed to get a kill on to Lady, so that's going to even things up 4 versus 4. The cap can's off the board, but that utility should already have been deployed. We've got Demo up on top floor. I think he's reasonably confident now that that's been cleared out, but he needs to start thinking about the timer here. He's down to 1:30. If he wants to have a real impact on this round, he needs to start thinking about doing that shortly. Jimothy just moving in through the dirt tunnel as well. That with the Maverick could well have been quite a silent entry. It's a good little trick to sneak in down there sometimes, because you can't be heard. But at this point, we've got a largely turtle defence coming in from the defenders. There's not really a need to do much else here, and you can see the impact nade just being used there to trick those Hibana pellets off, allowing only a small hole to be opened in that kitchen hatch. So if that's going to remain intact, that is going to be a big help to the defenders. But we can see Demo moving in there. There's surely going to be a bit of needle between him and XR Triker, the 2 casters that we've got tonight. He gets himself a double with the second coming in onto Hawk. Ralphie, meanwhile, will trade that out, and Jimothy gets a trade straight back for himself, but Low will finish Jimothy off. That leaves us now 1 versus 2. This will have to be a 1 versus 3 if Low is going to do this. He does get stuck on the bar a little bit as he makes the challenge onto Hibana. It is the 2 team captains facing off here. He knows exactly where he is, but he starts taking shots from behind, which I think was enough to distract him. He does get the kill onto Jake, but Jeff does exactly what he needs to. Really great there from Team Jake, just to get themselves separated. They recognised that they were in a 1 versus 2 situation, and they just managed to separate themselves, and that's what you want to do. You're setting yourself up for that trade. If you're both coming in from the same direction, you leave yourself in a situation where potentially 3 or 4 bullets are going to actually end both of you, and that's it, fight over. So well done on separating there, and that was exactly what they needed to do. So we've got a second round this time going in favour of the attackers. And that's going to lead the defenders, Team Low, to get themselves back down to Church and Arsenal. It is a popular site, but I don't know, they just never really seem to be in control of the site on that one. Demo did a great job of getting that top floor cleared out. He forced Hawk back down to the site, didn't allow him to play in Garage any further after he'd picked up that early kill onto Snedger. And once they had them pinned in sight, we had a push from Dirt Tunnel, we had a push from the Motor Hatch, and we had a push, I think, coming in from the Blue Stairs area as well. And that's one of the great ways to deal with Church and Arsenal, is just to apply guns to every avenue that you can and make it very, very difficult for anybody to move around in sight. Normally speaking, the wall that you've just seen Hawk reinforcing there, the church wall, that would be a popular target. If you've got a thermite particularly, you're going to look to get control over the stairs in that area. You're going to look to get control over kitchen, and then move down with a little bit bit of vertical pressure, get church wall open and plant just on the other side of it, basically at the bottom of your screen now. But without the thermite there, it does become a little bit more difficult, because you do want to be looking at getting some of those hatches open with the Hibana, so that limits you then in your hard breach capability to open that church wall. So, you know, there's obviously all these myriad strategies involved, all these myriad tactics, and you've just got to make your choice essentially, and that's the beauty of Siege. You're not in a situation whereby you can just do everything all the time. You have to make a decision, and whether it's the right or wrong one, you only find out in the 3 minutes of the round. So round number 4 now here on Clubhouse. We've got Team Jake taking an early lead 2-1, but things are still very close. The rounds have been pretty close so far. The defensive round up in Cash and CCTV was pretty conclusive, but I would say the same for the attacking round downstairs as well. So what are they going to have to do differently? I think really one of the big things here for Team Law is they need to be winning the gunfights. If you're going to stay in a turtle defence, you don't generally get the opportunity to be shooting people in the back. And we can see Hawk ignoring the drone there, and that's a good choice. Gets him another opening kill. That's 3 opening kills so far for Hawk in every round that we've played proper. He has come in big for his team and got that opening kill twice onto Snedger. So I'm sure Snedger's going to be looking to get some revenge there. Maybe when he gets onto the defence, we'll see him put in those nitro cells to good work, which he did yesterday. Jimothy will even things up for his team with the kill onto the roaming Hawk. So I think we are probably going to see now that everybody is back downstairs on site. Good control has been taken by the attackers. If they can start moving in now and getting these hatches open, starting to take some control, they might just be able to apply some pressure. We've got XR Troika there, aware that there is somebody potentially in the dirt tunnel. That is something that they saw last time. Jimothy did the same thing. Doesn't want to get predictable, but he will get the headshot through on to XR Troika, and he doesn't actually take any damage in return. So he just backs off there. We can see that warning sign is just telling him that there is a mozzie pest in the area that will steal his drone, and Demo here has managed to crouch walk himself into sight. He thinks it's a big brain play. Will it work out for him? Jimothy onto the triple kill there. Surely his teammates might start hanging back here as he gets the 4K. This could be an ace for Jimothy if he can find Law, the last man. Law will get one for himself, taking the book of Jeff, but it now leaves him upstairs trying to fight down onto site. Team Jake really need to start thinking about getting this diffuser down, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Jake does that. There's the drop. I think Jimothy hears it, steps out, and he will get the ace. That's 3 aces in 2 days. If this community night needed any bigger advert as to the quality of play, I really don't know what it is. As I said yesterday, all that you need in Siege to have an entertaining map, and it's just 2 teams of a reasonably similar quality that are going to go at each other. And this is when things like that happen. So a great start for Jimothy there. 9-3 as we can see. Low on the other side, 8-4. Absolutely no messing about from these two. 3-1 currently in favour of the attackers, which is a great start for them, because you'd potentially expect to see Clubhouse playing out a little bit more defender-sided. But that being said, you just never know in these sorts of games. It is a bit of a toss of a coin as to which way it's going to go. But a great start nonetheless so far, and very entertaining. So, no rookie mistakes yet. Obviously, let us know in chat if you want to post up any rookie mistakes that maybe you've encountered, seen in the past, or even, dare I say it, done yourself. Do let us know. We love to see those. There's been some absolute crackers on Twitter. I've got too many to mention, to be honest. I make rookie mistakes every time I play against Frost. I end up in her traps every single time. For any new players, again, I'm always keen to help out with maybe what the players are doing. XR Troika there, just knocking some holes in that soft wall. He's not going for any peaks. He's reinforced on the other side of that, as we can see now. The reason that he's done that is that it helps the sound travel better through that wall. So when the Hibana pellets are applied to the wall, it just helps him, if he stood behind it, to hear that a little better, and then he can start reapplying his bandit batteries. That's a tough one to say. Bandit batteries, if they have been cleared off. It just helps him to know that that hard breach is going to be attempted. So we can see now Jake moving in straight away on the Hibana towards that east wall. I'm keen to see if Hawk on the ruck can maybe get himself another opening kill here. He's been an absolute menace within the first minute of the round. He is up on the walkway again. This is where he managed to take Demo's head off from last time. But I think, you know, the attackers are learning. They are adapting and they're not going to be rushing into that same location. We can see we've got Demo and Snedger on the roof here, opening up the hatch into logistics. So I think we're going to see them joining the Capitao of Jeff, who we can see is somewhere around. Yeah, he's just outside still. He's going to be getting up there, and we're going to maybe see a 2 or 3 man push from the logistics side here. I don't think the defenders have got too many men focused on that side, so it could be a good opportunity. You can move in through the bedroom, you can move in through construction, and just apply pressure from both sides of the site here. JakeSouther just getting himself a little peek hole there. He's waiting for any sliver of an operator that he can see. We've got Ralphie just manning the stairs so that nobody can move up cash stairs without being picked up. We've got Lady in cash now. Lady is the one out there covering with Low, so we've got Low in bedroom as well. So this is promising from the defenders. I was a bit concerned that they didn't have anybody covering bedroom, but they do, and Low and Jake will get into a little bit of a face-off between the captains. He will be pushed, so that shows some good comms there. There was obviously a message coming through that he was in bedroom, so I think it was Demo who pushed in quickly to try and force him out there, but Low will put shots onto both Jake and Demo there before getting himself back into the construction area. We can see that Lady has been downed, but for the time being is not safe to collect, I don't think. Jimothy looking to get things cleared off the soft wall there. JakeSouther and Low moving in with 2 kills, clearing out that construction push. Lady will get a kill onto Snedger, and that now leaves us 3 versus 2, and Low comes in. No, Lord already down Demo. Lady comes in with the final headshot there, and that is a great round from the defenders. I was a little bit concerned early round, as I said, that they'd sort of left that cash side a little bit unattended, but that certainly wasn't the case. We had Low in bedroom. He took 2 great fights, moved away, and just kept his life so that he could continue fighting. Actually hid himself in construction. They didn't know that he was in behind those, I think, the pipes in there. Just a little bit of a nook off to one side. He kept himself in there, and between him and JakeSouther, they got Jimothy and they got Demo both within about 2 seconds of each other. So that was a great play from the defenders there. And we can see they're going to be heading back downstairs to try their hand on Church and Arsenal again. I think they've been unsuccessful down there both times that they've tried so far. And they are going to have to change something up a little bit. We can see JakeSouther just baiting a little bit with the mirror pick there. But we'll move on to the Mozzie. Let's see what he can do with him. I did speak yesterday about Mozzie as an operator and how powerful he is. They're denying intel. So for, again, anybody that doesn't know, JakeSouther now firing out those small pests. We got a good view earlier of what happens when a drone goes near it. You do get a very short warning, but if you continue driving and you go within its radius, then the pest will take control of the drone, and that means that Mozzie can actually use it for himself then, and the attackers lose all access to it. So not only is it denying intel from the attackers, but it's also gaining it for the defenders, and that is a huge swing in Siege. And Mozzie also has a fantastic lineup in his arsenal as well. His primary weapon is it's a great SMG, is the Roni, and then the Super Shorty just allows him to open up rotations and move around the map as freely as he likes for himself as well. So very powerful operator. Let's see what X can do with him. Jimothy there just taking a few shots at a common hiding point. You know, it's quite common for spawn peaks to come in from that soft garage wall, so just taking a few shots from there. You never know what you're going to get. Snedger doing it as well. Siege, you're never really short of ammo massively, so it is generally worthwhile just to pop a few shots through a soft wall, a barricade, and you never know, you do come out lucky sometimes. Now, interestingly, you can see in the distance there, we've got JakeSouther all the way upstairs on Mozzie, and he has not been droned out. He's not been dealt with. Lady will get a great first kill onto Jimothy, but Demo will follow that in and trade it out. Jake with a kill onto Hawk. Demo with a kill onto Low. JakeSouther is going to have to start moving himself down from that top floor very, very soon. We've got Ralphie hidden away in the dirt tunnel here. He can do something about this defuse, and he will do something about it. JakeSouther moves down and gets the headshot onto Demo. That will level things up in terms of their kills on each other. He gets a second onto Snedger. So this is a greatly timed flank from JakeSouther, just as I suggested. He'd managed to hide himself away upstairs. Nobody had droned up there. Nobody had been and checked, so they were completely unaware of his presence. And that now leaves them in a situation where Jeff has it all to do. The IQ is left in a 1 versus 2. The diffuser is down in sight. It has not been planted, so he has an absolute mountain to climb here. He has defenders on both sides of him, but it will only take one of them. Ralphie moving in with the headshot there to finish things off. Great round from the defenders. That was a fantastic adaptation, exactly what they needed. They mixed it up. They hadn't really played with a top floor roam presence prior to that. Demo, on the flip side, had cleared that out the first time that he went against Church and Arsenal. We saw him spend about a minute up on that top floor making sure it was clear. For some reason, this time the attackers just stepped away from it. They didn't pay any attention to the top floor, assumed that everybody would be on site, and that was really part of their downfall. They got a good couple of kills on site, and we saw them take a man advantage. I think it was 2 versus 4 at one point, but XR Troika came downstairs with a greatly timed flank, got the kill onto Demo, and then just opened things back up on the site. Meanwhile, Ralphie stepped out. The flashbang did not scare him in the slightest, managed to get himself 2 great kills onto sites to stop the diffuser going down. Fantastic plays from the duo there. So, 3 apiece. The spoils are even after the first 6 rounds. For, again, anybody who may be newer to the game, not watched the competitive game before, what happens is we play 6 rounds with Team Low on the defence, and now as we've played those 6, they will move on to the attack, and obviously the mirror opposite for Team Jake. So we're now going to see Team Jake moving on to the defence. No unusual operator picks. We've pretty much got the same as we've seen so far. Jeff not happy with the placement of that camera there. I'd have to agree. So he's just going to get it up in the other corner opposite the static cam there. Always questionable location for vault cams because the attacking players at that point are looking for cams in those areas. So sometimes they can be a little bit obvious when they're near the static cams. But again, players do get into strong tendencies where they walk into a room, shoot the static cam and then move on with what they're doing. It's almost a reflex, so it could well be missed as well. We're going to see Lady just moving to get those Nomad air jabs placed out to stop the potential run-outs here. We know that this area can be dangerous, and then we're going to have Low going on the upside down rappel of the garage door there just to try and clear off anybody playing on that top walkway. We saw Hawk have some success with it, and it is such a popular location. You can pretty much guarantee there's going to be at least one defender up there, and they will usually have an ACOG as well. So I would guess in this situation we're probably going to be looking at Jimothy on the dock on the catwalk there. So he's going to need to be cleared off. Yes, it is indeed Jimothy up there. He's going to need to be cleared out. Really, what you want to do as attackers here is you want to get 2 walls open, really, if you can. But with a lack of hard breach, with the thermite ban being in place, it does make it a little bit more difficult. You want to get the east wall open, and then if you look at the far left of your screen now from that camera view, you could see the garage wall that will have been reinforced as well, that runs from the catwalk into the site. If you can get both of those open in a functional way, then that is a huge step towards taking this site. As they are limited to Hibana, they're only going to be opening the east wall, which is still the correct choice. It's exactly what they need to do. We can see Demos open things up with an early kill there, but Ralphie will trade it out with one onto Jake. We've got Ralphie and Low both working together in stock here, trying to get themselves just a bit of a foothold in this map. That's what they're looking for, is a beachhead underneath to just take some control and start applying some vertical pressure. Just missed his shot a little bit there. It was just too far to the left. We're going to see the angle he was looking for now as Low opens up the ceiling further along, and that allows him an angle into sight, but Demo will show him that angles in Siege work both ways, and he gets a great kill onto Low. Meanwhile, XR Troika takes out one of the big fraggers with Jimothy coming off the board, and he will get himself a second onto Snedger. I know that XR Troika is very familiar with Hibana's gun, and it's one of his favourites, so he's putting it to good use there as he just looks to now see. Oh, that's a bad throw, X. Not getting the flashbang in through the hole. I'm sure there'll be another one to follow potentially. He's just peeking in there to see if he can pick off any of these remaining defenders. We've got Demo potentially down. No, I think he was on 1 HP. He did get get himself a headshot onto Hawk, but that will be traded out immediately by X. That gives him 3 on the round here. Jeff playing this well, takes the head off X as he moves up those stairs. That leaves us now with 7 seconds to go, and the attackers have to get the diffuser down here. They are going to run out of time if they don't get this kill. Jeff will get the kill onto Ralphie. Those are great plays from the owner of Barrage there. Very aware of how long was left on the clock, and importantly, did not force himself into engagements. He knew that he just needed to survive, and that is exactly what he did. I'm sure the attacking team of Team Law will be kicking themselves there. They needed to just focus a little bit more on that diffuser. I don't know if it was down in sight or if it was actually away from the site and it hadn't been collected, so they didn't have time to then go and get it and bring it to site. If they'd have been able to get the diffuser down, obviously that would have extended the round whilst that 45 seconds on the diffuse timer played out, and it would have just given them the opportunity to pick up that final kill onto Jeff that they needed. But he did exactly what he needed there on the Valkyrie, kept himself hidden away in sight, and he won his gunfights. Great plays there from Jeff. Moving into round number 8 then, and I tell you what, it's absolutely no surprise, is it? Coming in from yesterday, I commented on it yesterday, I have a habit of casting matches that go the distance with teams that are very even and will trade back and forward. I absolutely love it. It's the best kind of siege match you can get. It really does leave you on the edge of your seat, and that is what we are starting to see already here. We're heading into round number 8. We are 4-3. You couldn't separate these two with a sheet of paper. They are that close, and they really are going at each other. Like I say, I know that, you know, a lot of these players, I think, you know, if we look quickly across the lineup, we've got Law, we've got Jake, and we've got Jimothy, who are particularly used to playing in a competitive format. Everybody else maybe doesn't get the chance that often. We know that Demo, he always likes to go on about the fact that he's qualified for Prem a few times, so, you know, he's done a little bit of competitive play. Snedger coming in with an early headshot onto X, I'm sure that's going to have him fuming there. And I know I did talk to Jeff before the game, and he said part of the game plan was to get in and tilt X. I think they see him as a little bit of a target there potentially. If they can start getting a few spawn kills and things onto him, maybe his game will slide. We'll see how that pans out. I can confirm from playing with him, you know, sometimes that can be accurate. If he misses the shots he thinks he should hit, he does get very frustrated sometimes, so we'll see how that one works out. We do have that being traded out now, with Snedger being taken out on the Rook. His utility obviously in play already. He'll have put those armor plates down, and his team will be benefiting from them. Does just give him an opportunity to go and sit on the cams, any cams that are left. We do have a Valkyrie on the board, so he can be feeding information back in there. We've got Jimothy locked right away in the bathroom here, and he's just going to be hiding back in there. I think really the feeling I'm getting here from the defence is let's force them to come onto site. We've got Demo is the only roamer from what I can see, just holding himself back in garage, and that's something that the attacking team are going to have to be very aware of. He's got that crouch walk going again, and much like X timed a great flank against them, he's potentially going to return the favour here, but he will be seen. What a flank watch from Hawk there, showing why it's so important to cover those sides, and that's what he did, and he took the head off of Demo, and Jeff will get floored from a great shot from Lady all the way through from the logistics office, and things are starting to quickly fall apart for this defense here. 4 versus 2 now. The attackers have the diffuser in hand. Jimothy, however, will bring that one back in his favour. Gets a kill onto Ralphie. That now leaves him in a 3 versus 2 situation. Lots of work to be done, and Law is now well aware of where Jimothy is playing in those showers. Jimothy will take a great opportunity to move himself away. That was well timed. He had to get himself out of there, otherwise that frag would have been his undoing. Jake will level things up now with a kill on 2 Lady, so we have a quick swing around. What was 4-2 is now 2 versus 2, and we can see Jake just getting himself in the logistics office, see if he can make use of any of the holes that we've had opened up in the soft walls. Jimothy just holding himself in that 90 corridor area, but he will get down. I'm not sure where that was from. I think it was from the bedroom, potentially through the soft walls. Law just holding his position at the minute, keeping his angle. We know It does allow Jimothy to be picked up, so not following through and finishing that kill, while sometimes isn't the worst decision, might not have been the best there. We are looking at being short on time. That's 1 kill from the book. Law is moving in. Can he get the last? Surely he will. Finishes things with the skeleton key onto Jake, taking the game by the scruff of his neck for his team and saying we are not falling behind here, and that brings us to 4 apiece. And this one is another thriller, let me tell you. I can tell you now, this one is going to round 12 or even potentially overtime. Having a look at the leaderboard there, we've got Law at the top of the pops, 13-7, and Jimothy on 10-7 himself, and then we can see everything else is pretty evenly spread. Now, Snedger, I'm sure you're all familiar with Snedger. I'm not calling him out here. He's having a bit of a tough night tonight. We saw him play a lot better yesterday. He's one of the big YouTubers in the Siege community, puts out some fantastic content. I know he likes to focus on the fun side of the game, but he certainly is no slouch when it comes to the competitive side as well, and he certainly knows his way around the maps. So I'm sure Snedger will be looking to maybe improve his performance and get a few more kills for his team there. And I can see that he's just picked up the Maestro there, and that might not be a bad shout, because that Alder can be an absolute machine when it comes to getting the kills, especially in the late round. We can see he's going to be placing one of his evil eye cams in that bar, in the church area, sorry. Wrong jukebox. I thought he was climbing up on the jukebox in bar for a second there to cover the hatches, but he wasn't. He's down on site in church, and he's going to place one of those evil eye cameras down there. So that will allow him a great view of sight. They can only be destroyed by explosives or by Twitch or Thatcher opening them up and then taking a second shot at them after using their gadgets on them. Well, you do see through them. You can see through smoke. They give you a good thermal vision of anybody who's in sight. So they are very, very useful for the Maestro camps. Round number 9 then, we head into the action phase, and we've had some great action so far. We've had an ace, let's not forget, we've had an ace from Jimothy down on this site when he was attacking it, so I'm sure that's something he's not going to want to see now that he's on the defence. We've had kills raining backwards and forwards between Demo and XR Troika, 2 of our big UK casters who are actually squaring off tonight on opposite teams, so there's certainly a bit of needle, and there's definite bragging rights up for grabs there, let me tell you, from spending plenty of time with both of them. They're very competitive people, and neither one of them is going to want to lose this and then have to go to the next casting event that we do with the other one and listen forevermore as to how they were beaten in the Rookie Mistakes community night. Jimothy just holding himself back in the strip and bar area, so that's something that the attackers need to be aware of. We saw earlier XR Troika using a late flank to great effect and getting himself a good couple of kills now. X is on the hunt a little bit here, and he's going to just open up that hatch, but is he going to be careful of that pool table area? This is exactly what Jimothy is relying on. He's waiting for them to move in to get the hatches, and then he's going to play onto the flank, and he's going to try and take out as many as he can. Now, we saw this fail last time. Demo tried it, and Hawk took his head off, but it looks like Jimothy might have a little bit more success here. The great thing that he's done is actually move through the area that the attackers had already been in, so they thought it was clear, and he gets himself a very cheap headshot onto Lady there. No messing about, will get himself the first kill and just put things into an advantage for his team. What a shot onto sight there from XR Troika, just taking out the legs of Jeff, and Law follows in, taking out that roamer of Jimothy, so that now throws things, I was going to say, into the favour of Team Law, but Demo says not today with a headshot onto Law. That is going to level things up. 3 versus 3 coming into the final 55 seconds. And something that we've seen today that we didn't really see the same yesterday is these rounds really playing out towards the last 30 to 40 seconds, and I like that because it just increases that excitement there. We can see Demo trying to move out with the shotgun there, but he will lose his head to X, and I think that just puts X in the lead. 2 versus 1 in the kill stake between him and Demo, so Demo, I'm sure, is going to be pushing to bring that back to level or even into his favour. It's all now down to Snedger and Jake. I did comment on this Alder. It is an absolute clutch machine with 60 rounds in the mag. I think that actually goes to 80 when it's full. He really does not need to stop shooting if he gets to the last 10 seconds. He can absolutely just open up. And I think Team Law might just start to struggle a little bit again with time here. They haven't got the diffuser down. They're having to just file into sight. This is a bloodbath. Hawk with great reactions onto Jake, but Snedger gets the first with the Outer. Hawk will finish him off with a headshot from the pistol, though, and that will be round number 9 going in favour of Team Law. And we quite often see that downstairs on Church and Arsenal. They will get that last 10 seconds, 15 seconds, where it's just an absolute bloodbath on the site, and that's what happened there. But my concerns for Team Law are they're just not focusing quite enough on the diffuser, on the objective here, and it's always coming down to the last 10 or 15 seconds. We've seen them lose a round already because of that. They didn't have the diffuser in hand, and Jeff was just able to play out the clock and just avoid the other operators and keep himself alive, and that won the round for his team. So that's certainly something that Team Law need to be careful of here, is just thinking exactly who's got that diffuser, where it is, and what stage they're at in the round. Does it need to be going down at that point? So, for any of you that don't know Ralphie, we'll have a quick chat about Ralphie and who he is. He's a big streamer within the Siege community. I think last time I saw he was over 3,000 followers over there on Twitch. He's been around for a long time as Ralphie. I believe he was involved with the beta of Siege, so he is a long time player, coming up to 4 complete years now for him, and he knows the game inside and out. So, no surprise to have seen him so far tonight in some great positions. We saw him put in some great work from the dirt tunnel whilst he was on defence earlier. Even when flashed, he managed to get out and get the kill and stop the diffuser going down. Round number 10 we have then, coming towards the action phase. We're going to be defending CCTV and Cash, and we can see Jake downstairs potentially looking to get himself out onto the roam. And are we going to have a spawn peek attempt from Jimothy here? We have had attackers spawn in that area. Is he going to get one? We've got a great view of this. They just move round to the other side, and he's just not left himself with the view to see them there. Jimothy missing a great opportunity. The shots do eventually come into that window to move him away, and it's Snedger now who will hold himself underneath there. But if Jimothy just had his angle a bit further round, there is a hole in the wall that the attackers move through, and I don't think they were actually looking at the window, and he would probably have had some joy. But for the time being, Snedger's just going to hold his position there, and if anybody looks to jump through that barricade, they are going to get a very nasty surprise. Although I'm pretty sure that Hawk's just seen that. On his drone, the Twitch drones are extremely quiet, and I think that he is aware now of Snedger's position. So we will potentially see some pressure being applied to Snedger here. He is going to move away, which could be very good for his continuing life. He's going to drop a Legion mine inside there, so we will know if the attackers hop in through there. And we do have Lady just taking a few shots again, playing it cautiously. Lady, for any of you who don't know, is a streamer for T3H. I believe Ralphie's also involved with T3H as well, one of our big community organisations here in Siege. They do have probably one of the best followings that we've seen of any of the communities, to be honest, any of the organisations. They do very, very well. They've got a very vocal community, always showing great support. We can see Jeff just missing his shots on the knock of Ralphie there, and he's now going to start chasing him down. He uses that Hell Presence device, and whilst he's crouched, he's going to be practically silent, but that won't matter to Jeff. He doesn't need the noise, and he just turns around and gets that kill onto the knock, meanwhile opening himself up a rotation as well to allow himself to move more freely around that bedroom and gym area. And Law on the Ash will also take some shots from above. As I've said a couple of times, you have to be careful when opening up those vertical holes. They do work in both directions. We can see shots now being put onto Lady as well as she tries to play in from that window, but will not have any joy. Jake, meanwhile, has been down, will be picked back up to 20 health, but we can see Lady moving into an alternative location and getting the kill onto Jeff, but Demo will finish things off with the big smoke shotgun there, getting himself another kill on the board. But it's not the one that matters against XR Troika to level things up for him. Law, meanwhile, will get the kill onto Snedger. So that now leaves us in a 3 versus 3. And once again, we're coming down to that late round situation. There is nothing to separate these two teams. XR Troika just taking damage from a Legion goo mine there. And that's going to give the defending team a good idea that he's moving in from that location. So he's going to change his angle of attack there. That's a good strategy. But with 10 seconds to go, he really does need to get into sight. He will get into sight and takes the head off Demo as he does so, but Jake will step forward and get the trade, leaving the diffuser down in sight. This should be easy for the defenders from here to let the clock run down. That's exactly what they do, and that is another good defense there. And once again, I've already commented on it, not wanting to go in too hard on the attackers here, but Timor just struggling to get into sight with enough time to make effective use of that diffuser. Great shots from XR Troika coming in, getting a headshot onto Demo as he came through. I think that leaves him 3 versus 1 in the caster stakes there. 9 and 8 on the day. Demo is leading on the kills though with 11 and 8, so that will at least give him a little bit of muscle in that argument between the two of them that I'm sure will ensue. But overall, Law is the outstanding player so far from that Wind and Rain roster. 15 and 8 here in the Rookie Mistakes Community Night. So, we're heading into round number 11, and exactly in the same vein as yesterday, we are guaranteed at least 12 rounds in this first map. So don't go anywhere. This is going to be a thrilling conclusion, I'm sure. We are downstairs in Church and Arsenal for this one, and whoever wins this round is going to give themselves the opportunity of a match point without taking things to overtime, which is the last thing either of these two teams is going to want to do, I'm sure. But equally, neither of them are going to want to lose it. So, you know, it's that fine balance. How aggressive do you get? Do you play, just keep yourself on site? Do you play that risky spawn peak? Do you get yourself up onto top floor and hope that you don't get noticed? There's so many questions to be answered, and they will be answered in the next 3 minutes. We can see Jake just applying some goo mines up there in the garage so that they know if anybody is approaching from that direction. But Ralphie just taking out the static cams there early. We can see Hawk on his drone there, just looking to feed in any information. I think he was up on the top floor. Now, this is a good idea for the attackers. Loy's on the Jacqueline. He's going to be moving in through the strip area. Now, that is a common hiding place for any roamers. Now, he can get himself in towards that hatch, and he can get himself a track onto the Legion. So that just gives them a good idea that, right, at least we have Legion down on site, who is a common operator used for roaming, so that starts to suggest that maybe we don't have any roamers. As it is, we can see on top floor that there are actually 2 defenders up there in what looks like the construction and cache area. If they're not recognised and dealt with, it could become a bit of a bloodbath in the late round. If they are, however, then it gives a great advantage to the attackers. We can see a nade just being dropped in there. So that suggests to me that Ralphie is well aware that there's somebody playing up there on the top floor. Hawk will get the kill onto Demo, but Jimothy comes out with a huge double for his team there onto XR Troika and Hawk. That is 2 of the big slayers from the attackers gone. And that leaves us now in a 3 versus 4 in favour of Team Jake here. I believe XR Troika had opened at least one of the hatches before being killed there, so that does at least give the attackers something to work for. But one concern I do have as Law moves around this corner, Jimothy will take his head off on a slow peek there, is that the diffuser is out of hand once again. The attackers do not have possession of it, and as I say that, fortunately Lady does go and get that collected, because again, they don't want to get into the last 10 seconds here, going towards site and not having the diffuser in hand. Lady being careful with the Nomad air jabs here just to prevent any... Ooh, try and prevent any flanking, but we're going to see Jimothy on a quad kill again. Surely his team will step back and give him the opportunity to hunt Ralphie down. He's already had 1 ace today. I'm sure he's going to be keen to get a second. We did see 2 aces in 1 match yesterday, but we certainly didn't see 2 from the same player. Is Jimothy going to be the first player to put in 2 aces in 1 map in a Rookie Mistakes Community Night? Only time will tell. He does have the angle onto Ralphie. He will start to put some shots in, but that will make Ralphie run in the opposite direction. If Jimothy wants this, he's going to have to go and find it, but he's playing very sensibly. He's got the diffuser down and he's going to wait, and that's going to cost him the ace, but that is selfless. Covering that diffuser, Jake will get the final kill as Ralphie moves into the blue stairs area, and that will be Team Jake moving to get themselves into match point position. If they can take this last defense, then they will get the first map Clubhouse going in their favour. So, JakeSouther, I believe, is a player from Swansea University, who I am led to believe were the first Welsh team to win the University Siege League. The University Siege League has over 65 teams registered. There's an absolute wealth of people getting involved in competitive Siege through there, and I believe that Swansea also followed it up with a second win as well. So they've not only the first Welsh team to win the University Siege League, they've actually now won that twice and got themselves, I think they defended the title as well. So coming into this next season, I think the sign-ups will be starting in September and ending in October. I'm sure Swansea are going to be keen to compete again and see if they can defend that for a second time. The site for our final regulation time round number 12 here, is going to be gym and bedroom. I watch a lot of Siege, as you can appreciate, and I can usually give you a good guide as to what's going to happen in a match, but honestly, this one is the toss of a coin. I really couldn't tell you which way this is going to go. I don't think either of the teams have ever taken more than a one-round lead here. They've always been within touching distance of each other. It has been even closer, if it's possible, than the match we saw last night. It's been very entertaining. We've had an ace, we've had a 4K, we've had some really great plays. Hawk coming out with a good couple of opening kills on a spawn peak as well, and it's just been an absolute cracker. So, 2 minutes 40 left to go. JakeSouther is again out on the roam a little bit. We know that we are in the gym bedroom area. He's gonna, that's not the sort of shots we're used to there from JakeSouther. If you're watching this on the replay, JakeSouther, probably cover your eyes for that bit. That was rough. But he does eventually take out the Twitch draw. And I'm not going to get on his case too much. He does have an ace on the game, let's not forget. We can see Law up there now, just feeding that information into his team as to where the electronics are found in and around the site. He's using that IQ scanner. We've got Ralphie just holding an angle on the window there from the roof. The last thing, they don't really want to drop down too quickly here, because they do have to be very careful of this cache and CCTV area. When you try and get yourself down in front of the windows, it's very, very tricky, because you've got 3 or 4 angles that you can be jumped out on, that you can have peaks come out at you from, so you do have to be careful of that. Looks like there's going to be a focus put on getting Hot Tub Wall open. We've got XR Troika over there on Hibana, and we can see the Twitch drone just moving in to try there. And what a slow peek from Demo there, as he just moves himself around the window. Lady putting a few shots in, giving her location away, and Demo will just step round and say, thank you very much. That's a kill for me. JakeSouther follows it up with a second fantastic one onto Ralphie. This is all going in the favour of Team Jake now here on the first map of Clubhouse. Could this be the finisher? They need to get this round to win things and avoid the overtime, and with 5 versus 3, it certainly looks like a possibility. We can see that Team Law have managed to get this wall open. They've got Hawk, Law and XR Troika left, all of whom have had some good kills, but Jake will take Law off the board. That's one captain onto another here. We can see XR Troika's been downed, and Demo will step up to make that 3 versus 2 on the night in terms of kills between them two, and Hawk will trade that straight back out. That leaves him now in an absolute mountain to climb. 1 versus 4. He's full health. He's got the F2. He's got everything he needs potentially to do this, but it's going to be a big ask as shots come in from the castle of Jeff there, taking 25 health off him. That now leaves him 75 health and a huge dream ahead of him as Jeff just moves out and puts a few more shots onto him. Jake, it will be, however, who just steps out from downstairs, puts himself at a far enough distance to get the angle, and will finish things off on map number 1 for Team Jake. So that will be Clubhouse going in favour of Team Jake 7-5. But what a fantastic fixture we've just seen again. We can see 15 and 10 there from Law, 16 and 8 from JakeSouther. We're having some absolute frag fest so far tonight in the Rookie Mistakes Community Night, coming to you from Ubisoft. I can't wait for map number 2. Map number 2 is going to be Chalet, and then we will have Border if we need to decide. So for the time being, I'm going to give you and the players a very short break. We'll be back with you in about 5 minutes, and we're going to continue what has been a fantastic show match here. So don't go anywhere. Hi everyone and welcome back to the Rookie Mistakes Community Night with me, Ace of Pyrite, bringing you all the action, and what a lot of action we've had so far. We've just seen map number 1 of Team Law versus Team Jake. So we've got Law from Wind and Rain and we've got Jake from Swansea University, all filled up in their teams with members of the Siege community, and what a fantastic match we have just seen so far. 7-5 it finished. We saw all 12 rounds again going to Team Jake. So they have come out with the first. Heading into the second, we're going to be playing on Chalet. So again, it's an interesting map that we don't always see too often now that it's not in the competitive pool. We're going to have a Jackal ban coming out first of all. So that's going to free things up on the roam. We saw a real mixture of play over that last map, to be fair. We had Thermite banned out, so it really did limit things in terms of which walls were being opened. Obviously, you're down then just to Hibana as your hard breacher. Maverick being banned on Chalet, not too much of a surprise. He can be a bit of a nuisance on the snowmobile door. But we are going to have the Thermite this time, and I think that's going to do Team Law a lot of good. I felt like they were just struggling to get onto site on their attacks. They were leaving it to the last 10 or 15 seconds, and it was just a little bit of a bloodbath for them at times, and they were losing a couple of those gunfights. And honestly, with 1 or 2 changes, that map could have gone either way. That is fair to say. We had outstanding performances from Lowe and Jimothy, 2 of our big competitive players in the Siege scene, absolutely flexing on that last map, and both having very good games. We've got a bit of a showdown going on between 2 of the casters. You'll all be familiar with XR Troika and Demo, 2 of the big UK casters. They're on opposite sides. We've got XR Troika on Team Law, we've got Demo on Team Jake. They've actually come together head to head quite a few times. We've had 5 deaths between them, and so far I can say it's 3 kills in favour of XR Troika and only 2 to Demo, so I'm sure we're going to be interested to see how that one continues to play out as well. Heading into round number 1 here, we can see those bans for Chalet are Jackal, Maverick, Mirror and Echo. Not too much of a surprise. Mirror, very powerful down in the garage area. Not too much so on the other sides of Chalet. Echo, powerful all over the game, to be honest with you. Since he got those 2 Yokai drones, he's just got so much deniability there. And Jackal and Maverick, obviously, I've already discussed. So what we're doing here tonight is, obviously, Ubisoft have put together these community nights just to showcase some of the talent that we've got throughout the community. We've had a lot of fun around the Rookie Mistakes hashtag as well. I've seen some absolute crackers on Twitter, so get yours in the chat if there's anything that you've seen or maybe done yourself that is worth a bit of a laugh, and we will have a read of those. But yeah, really, it's just about getting a few competitive players together, a few community players together, and having a bit of fun. And it has been fantastic fun so far. And I think, I got so much positive feedback I saw on Twitter last night after we'd finished up that I just absolutely bounced into the cast today. I couldn't wait to get here and get on the mic and bring another one to you because it was just so much fun. So running through the players for anybody that has joined us since the beginning of the last one, we've got Team Law. Law is a competitive player from the Wind and Rain roster, and he is joined by Hope, who is a streamer he streams on behalf of Horus as an organisation. We've got XR Troika, who is a very good friend and co-caster of mine, also a YouTuber as well. Works on the Enough is Enough channel with me, and we put out tips and advice, that sort of thing. We've got Ralphie, who is a Twitch streamer. He's got sort of 3,000 followers. He's been streaming since pretty much day 1 of Siege, played through the beta, and is a great Siege player, absolute wealth of knowledge about the game. And then we've got Lady, who rounds up Team Law, and she is a T38 streamer as well. Again, very entertaining to watch. She likes to have a good bit of fun in the game, and she is showing so far that she is no slouch either. We've seen some great kills coming in from her exactly when her team has needed them as well. Looking over to the other team, Team Jake. So Jake is one of the players for the Swansea University Siege team. They've won the University Siege League twice. They've the first Welsh team to win it, so there's certainly some pedigree there. He has shown that he is absolutely very, very capable, probably to play at a higher competitive level. XR Troika moving in with a good first kill there. I know he does like to enter in through library and clear that area out when playing on Chalet. He does just get a peek as well through to somebody on the west main stairs. It was the Rook of Snedger, but he will escape with his life after putting some damage onto XR Troika. So looking back towards Team Jake, along with Jake, we've got Jimothy, who is a fantastic competitive player. We saw him absolutely go off, getting an ace in that first map and also a 4K as well. And he starts things off for his team with a headshot onto Hawk. We saw him most recently at Epic Land 27, where he had a bit of a breakthrough performance. Takes the head off XR Troika as well. He really is a gunner, and keep an eye out for Jimothy. You will be seeing him in UK competitive Siege and probably beyond that as well. It wouldn't surprise to see me, him push into a higher level of competition in future. We've got 2 quick kills coming there from Low and Ralphie onto Demo and Jake to take things back in favour of the attackers, but then it's quickly levelled up as Snedger gets the kill onto Low, so that now leaves us 2 versus 2. Snedger, of course, I think a lot of us will be familiar with Snedger. He's a big YouTuber, 190,000 plus subscribers, with some great content, and absolutely knows this game inside and out. And then making up that team, we've got the other caster. We've got Demo. He needs absolutely no introduction. He's the face of the UK Premiership, I think he's been called before. He really is synonymous with the UK scene. He's qualified for Premiership a few times. He's cast at the top level. He's done a couple of dream hacks. He's cast at the Paris Major, which he did a fantastic job of. I'm sure anybody who saw that will agree. And he's also an absolute ardent Siege player as well. Still plays an awful lot of the game. Lady moving in there to get that first kill. And interestingly, we didn't have a first round knife fight. I didn't even manage to pick up on that. I was too busy telling you all about the teams. We've had a first round knife fight in the first map a couple of times, and we saw it in the second map. But I tell you what, after that battle on Clubhouse, it is no surprise to see that both of these teams have jumped in and taken this very seriously immediately. There is some serious sweating going on in these Discord chats or team speaks, whichever they're in. I can tell you now, they are definitely here to win. Neither team wants to go away with, that loser's runners-up medal. They don't want that. They want the win. They want the bragging rights. And it's also interesting, we've got Hawk and Snedger, who actually joined us for yesterday's match as well. But they were both on the winning team yesterday. They were on Team Western, and they both got the win. So one of them is going to remain undefeated, and one of them is not. So that's even extra bragging rights for them. So we'll see how that one falls. Looking towards round number 2 then. We are going to be heading into the... Where are we? Which side? We're on the kitchen. So we'll be in kitchen and trophy once again. And that is the same site that we just saw in round number 1. And the attackers have been successful at getting in there and clearing that out. So the defender's going to give that another go. I'm sure, depending on the outcome of this one, they may choose to move somewhere else if they don't manage to win it on this defense. But we're going to have a good top floor presence once again. Demo just opening up the window there. Is he going to be keen for a spawn peek? It looks like he is having a look. I think he certainly wants to get a camera out there. He's going to have to pick it up. That leaves him in a risky position. He's stood in an open window now, waiting to get a camera out there. He wants to get it onto the lamppost, and then you can see the trophy window, so it gives you a great idea if the attacking team are looking to enter site and potentially get a plant off. But he will manage to do that, I would imagine. He's probably put his camera out there, and then he's moved himself away from that window. We're going to have a good top floor presence. Last time we saw the attackers going through library and look to push through there. It looks like Hawk is going to open up that window, and that's something that they are potentially going to look to do again. XR Troika this time is more down towards the front of the building. He was one of the people moving in with Capitao through the library last time, but he's going to leave that this time to Hawk and Lady. They are very conscious that there could be somebody in there now. XR Troika has just seen the holes in the wall there, and I think he's just got a view onto Jaeger downstairs. That's Jimothy Jimothy, and he's also got a second man down there with him, I think, working as a duo on their own. So that's something that is going to need to be challenged by the attackers, because if they're allowed to move up on the flank, that will be extremely dangerous for them. We can see Snedger was holding a very similar location last time, just trying to slow down any attacker progress on this top floor. He's going to be at the top of West Main Stairs, just waiting for any attackers that move through into his line of sight, which could happen any moment now. Demo does get the kill onto Ralphie. Snedger just can't quite see Hope as he tries to peek around, but neither of them will be quite aware of the other's presence here. Snedger is just very intent on holding that angle. It looks like we've got one in office as well. I think that's Demo on the Valkyrie in office. He has taken some damage, and he's again just going to be holding his position. They are doing a much better job of keeping vertical control this time. That area was cleared out a lot quicker by the attackers last time. Lady is going to take some serious damage as Demo runs out onto the balcony and will get the kill, but immediately traded out. Great duo play from Hawk there as he gets the kill onto the Valkyrie, but that now leaves us 4 versus 3 in favour of the defenders. And I think, honestly, if I had to predict this one, I'd have said it would go in favour of the defenders. The last map, we didn't see anybody ever go more than 1 round in the lead. So with the attackers taking the first round, I would expect to see the defenders coming back hard, but Law will get a kill onto Jeff there. So that will leave XR Troika with enough time and space to get that diffuser down. A better focus on the objective this time from Team Law. That's what we needed to see. 3 versus 3, and they can now just start to hold this site, hold their angles, and wait for the defenders to push onto them. Aggression is what is going to be needed here from the defenders. They can't try and slow peek into these angles because the attackers are waiting inside. Jimothy will get one onto Hope, but Law meanwhile will get one onto Jake. We have a battle. There's Snedger just gets taken down there. I think Law with a double kill. Jimothy, Snedger was downed and will be finished, and that will be the round for Law. Once again, a great example of what can happen when you get that diffuser down. It just flips the round on its head. The defenders have to become attackers, and they have to move back onto that site, and their utility they've placed early in the round can almost start working against them. Then the reinforcements and, you know, barbed wire potentially, although it doesn't slow them, it is a sound cue. It does let the attackers know where they're coming from, so it can be of great detriment to them. Moving towards round number 3 then, an early lead taken so far by the attackers here. It's the first time we've seen anybody go 2 rounds ahead, other than the point where Team Jake won the last map where they went up to 7-5, but that's the first time we've seen 2 rounds separating these teams in the normal run of the game. I'm very, very sure that Team Law are going to want to really win this half. They don't want to be going in 3 apiece again. They want to feel like they've got a commanding lead when they come into the defence of Chalet. Kitchen and Trophy, potentially this site that we're seeing now down in the snowmobile garage, are sites that you're going to want to win on the defence, but they're not easy sites to win on Chalet. If you can get down onto defence, only needing 2 successful rounds, it does just make things a little bit easier for you. So we can see we've got the hard breach of Hibana. I think Thermite would have been a good shout here, but they've maybe not predicted that the defenders are going to change things up having lost the second time. I think they maybe think they're still going to be in Trophy and Kitchen. Thermite can be great for getting that garage door open. They do have Capitan, which is again a good shout. If you they need to clear off the bandit batteries, and then you can play a fire arrow in through the drone hole, which will cover the left hand side of the wall sufficiently to stop it being tricked. So if Hibana places the charges over on the far left, Lady needs to be careful about that. She can't play them off to the right at all. If she plays them over on the far left panel and there's a fire arrow goes in at the correct time from XR Troika, then we are going to see this should be opened successfully. Even with the shield in place, it should do the job. So in goes the fire arrow, but it doesn't go far enough in, and that is still going to allow the Hibanas to be bandit tricked. However, Jimothy won't get the second one down, and he is caught out trying to get that bandit down, and he will be downed in the process. Nobody is going to be able to pick him up there. He cannot move away, so that effectively ends the round for Jimothy, and that is one of the big fraggers for Team Team Jake, sorry. So that is going to make things a lot more difficult. Bandit also has a very good gun. Demo, however, coming out and getting a great kill onto Law to start things. That is effectively now 4 versus 4. We can see the maestro of Jake is harmed as well. Demo will finish things off with a kill onto Jimothy, but I think that was more just to remove the distraction and the temptation, not to allow it to be that his teammates could be baited into going for the revive, because it just would not have been possible. So, what are the attackers going to do here? They've got good control of that garage door. They've got it opened up. We get a great view of Snedger just defending it as he takes the head off Lady as she moves through. But Hawk will get a second from the breach. That's a double kill for him on the round as he takes Jake out of things. We are now 3 versus 2. Still in favour of the attackers. We can see that XR Troika has moved himself quickly upstairs. There is a call out that there's somebody playing down in blue corridor, and he will move in and get the kill onto Snedger. That is a great thought process there from XR Troika. Gets the call that blue is a problem, so moves to deal with it. It is all on Jeff now. We've seen him in this position before. However, this time the diffuser has been planted. He now has to retake the site on only 75 health. He's moving towards the blue corridor, and it looks like XR Troika is holding a tight angle there. He'll move out, and it's a simple case of a couple of shots that will finish things off, and a quick shake of the camera to say not today. So that is another attacking round win, and the defenders having a torrid time so far on this game. Moving into round number 4, I'm going to be interested to see which site we go to. The defenders yet failing to win a site, so they do have the entire map available to them. But now confidence starts to become a factor. It looks like they're going to be heading back towards Kitchen and Trophy, but this is a site that they've already lost twice. So you've got to be asking yourself, what do you do differently? The attack was different both times, and there was still pressure applied through library and top floor, but certainly not as much. They didn't gain control of the bedroom like they had done in the first attack, and it was just, you know, a very different attack. They went in through the trophy window, got the diffuser down, focused on the objective, and so they've shown that they can win this in 2 different ways. What did the defenders do here? We can see a different lineup. We've got Kaid, so that can help to keep the bedroom hatch clear, and maybe they can maybe apply a little bit less attention to that top floor as defenders and focus more on the objective itself. We've got Jake now bringing the Mozzie, so he's going to be looking to deny some, and he is denying it. We can see he's already caught himself a drone there, so he's going to be denying some intel for the attackers, which is something they've been using well. We got a good example of it last round. There was a call out, it must have been from Lady, that Snedger was playing in blue corridor and had got the headshot onto her. So then XR Troika rotated. He was no longer needed at the breach as Capito. He's rotated around and come down and cleared that blue corridor out. So they're working well as a team. The comms are there. We can see the gameplay that tells us that. So capturing and just reversing some of that intelligence is going to be a good play from the defenders. We'll see how it plays out. Coming into the action phase proper now, then we can see XR Troika once again looking to get himself up into library. It's a popular approach for him, and he's going to be using the Capito to try and get himself in there. As we can see, we've got Demo and Jake playing underneath that in the game room area. And now we've got Jake actually in the library, so he's going to be there to make a challenge. We've got Jeff getting a good first kill onto Hawk. Hawk was instrumental in that last win. Don't sleep on Hawk at all. He got 2 very good kills from the breach, and they are never easy. We can see XR Troika there aware of Jake's presence, and shots will come in onto Jeff as well. A lot of manpower being applied to just trying to hold on to this library for as long as possible. They certainly don't want to give up the top floor control, and it is important. It's something that the defenders need to do differently. The last time that the attackers tried to take top floor control here, they did so reasonably easily, and it cost the defenders. As we can see, Team Jake having a much better run of things here. 5 versus 4, nearly half the round gone, and no major progress made by the attackers at this stage. But, sorry guys, Caster's Curse, as I say that, Low will get the kill onto Demo, so that evens things up and takes the Valkyrie off the board, and I think a number of those Valkyrie cams have been shot out as well, that I've seen whilst the round has been going on. That's a kill for XR Troika, finally clearing out the library area, and he will chase Jake down the stairs as well. Low gets a kill onto Snedger, so that's 2 for him on the round, and we are now 4 versus 2, and this is once again quickly becoming an attacker favoured round as Ralphie gets the kill onto Jimothy, who was hiding out in trophy. Jake will get himself 1 onto X with the super shorty, and that will leave him a very low HP Mozzie looking to fight back in a 1 versus 3 situation. We can see Lady now has moved into sight and is getting that diffuser down. I would have to suggest that Team Law have recognised here that they were having a problem with the objective and were leaving it too late, and that is something they are actively looking to change. We can see, I think it's Lady has gone prone in the kitchen to try and get that final kill, but she won't be able to get it before Law moves in and gets things done with a acrobatic straight in from K9 in through the main lobby area, and will get that last kill. So that at round 5 puts his team 4-0 up at this point, and that guarantees them a win on the half at least. They are going to come out of the first 6 rounds at least 4-2, if not better. And I tell you, at this stage, I have to say, it looks like it's possibly going to be even better than that. We are going to be heading back down to Wine Cellar and Snowmobile Garage. Again, a defence that was lost in round 3. And again, lost reasonably convincingly. The garage door was opened. Jimothy was down very quickly on the bandit behind that. They're not even bringing a bandit this time. They're not going to bother trying to trick it. It has become so much more difficult since the changes have been made to the detonation times and things like that, especially with Capitai's fire arrow changes as well. So what do they need to do differently down here? Obviously, I would have said keeping the garage door closed would have been a good thing, but as we can probably accept that that's not going to happen, what else can they do differently? They need to keep better control of blue and better control of rear, because they need to force the attackers really to only be approaching from that garage door breach. Once they get surrounded and they allow them into blue corridor or anywhere else, that is when it becomes almost impossible, because from blue corridor you can watch the connector door, so then you can cover the plant if you get in hard against the wall on the right hand side as you look at the garage door breach. So yeah, it gets very, very difficult when you get people in from multiple angles. But we are going to have Snedger looking for a spawn peak on the Alder, but I tell you what, the attackers are bang on top of things here, and what a view we get of the reverse spawn peak headshot from XR Troika onto Snedger there. He really has got his eye in this game, and we've seen him get a few cracking kills so far. Nothing too much between him and Demo. They've not really been coming together too much. I'm interested to see how that fight continues. It's pretty much even Stevens at the minute. We've got Demo up on the top floor as Alibi, looking to get out on the roam and see what damage he can do. He's out with Jake as well, who's on sort of a semi-roam with Rook there. And it's time for the attackers, Team Law, to get themselves down and start thinking about opening this door now. They've got the Thatcher down there, and I think they're assuming that there's going to be bandits or mutes on there. But at the moment, there isn't anything. And we have Demo making that roam effective and getting the kill onto Lady on the Dockerby. So that's a good kill, because I don't think any of those logic bombs have actually been used yet. But what a great reverse headshot there vertically from Low onto Demo. Jake will trade that straight back out. But once again, Hawk is there for the trade. We've seen this from him a number of times now. He's always where his team needs him to be, and he's been great at picking up the trades. Been great at getting in and leveling the man count. How many times have we seen that? Team Law lose a man and in comes the trade. They are working very well in pairs. Ooh, Jeff just gets a view onto the head of Ralphie there as the Thatcher Elite comes into sight, but he won't be able to land any shots or get a kill, and he's just going to live to fight another day. But whilst he's up on the top floor, there's not too much he can do. We can see, I think it was Jimothy just down in the Capitao there, but Hawk will move in silently to sight, and the Doc has absolutely no chance. It's time to start thinking about getting that diffuser down again, whilst Jeff has to move. I feel a bit sorry for Jeff. Last man standing so many times, has to move back to sight, and that's another kill for Hawk on the round. That's at least 3 for him, and he is absolutely flying so far on Chalet. So we're coming in to the final of the first 6 rounds now. 5-0 in favour of Team Law. Look at that, Hawk 6-3 there. We've got Law coming out on 9-3. XR Troika top of the pops, 5-3 with 3 assists. They are working very, very well together as a team. They are covering each other to get the diffuser down. It feels like the comms are on point, because when somebody dies, there's a trade there very, very quickly. Or when you see somebody on a drone, they don't tend to be alive for much longer. So it just seems like they've gelled very well here on Chalet. And I tell you what, we are screaming towards a decider on border at breakneck speed at the moment. If Team Jake can't apply the brakes, we're going to be there in 2 short rounds. And I'm looking forward to the prospect of border now. It's a very competitive map. It is, one of the ones that we are much more familiar with seeing. It's a little bit more linear in terms of the attacks and defences. They do tend to be done in very, very similar ways. And I think that's just because Border's been around for so long. There is talk about Border potentially. I say talk of it. I think it's a community favourite for a potential future rework. I think there's a lot of people that would like to see that happen. And I think that just happens. We saw the same with Oregon. That they are very competitive maps. And they're used for that reason. But ultimately, over a period of time, we get so familiar with them that we just narrow down the perfect attacks, we narrow down the perfect defences, and then nobody ever really strays away from them. So at that point, I think a rework does help just to mix things up a bit. So maybe Border and Oregon will see some treatment. XR Troika getting a headshot onto Demo there, which will take him 4-2, I believe, in the kill stakes between those two. So some bragging rights are going to be on the table there for him. We've got Lady in sight very, very quickly here within the first 30 seconds of the round, getting the diffuser down, and she is being supported very well by the Montagna of Law, who will drop his shield and get a kill as well. So that now leaves us with about 35 seconds left on this diffuse timer, and we were only 30 seconds into the round when it went down. 4 versus 3 now in favour of Team Law, and they are going to take an absolute whitewash as Lady moves in. Only 1 kill to her name coming into this round, but manages to get 2 great kills. Snedger somehow has got himself into absolute no man's land. As a defender outside, he is being constantly pinged here. Lady will move out to try and get the kill. It was actually Jimothy, that's got himself outside as the dock. He will get the knife kill. He'll go to juice himself up, but Ralphie will finish things off, and that is 6-0 on the attacking phase from Team Law. What a masterclass on Chalet that one has been. We've had a couple of standout performances there. Law and XR Troika standing up with some great kills between them. Again, potential run out at the beginning of the round. XR Troika already dealt with Snedger on a spawn peak, and it just seems, I think he said on Twitter earlier that he had about 10 Red Bulls lined up, so I think he's probably sat at his desk at home trembling at this stage with the number of energy drinks that he's consumed, and he's just in another zone at the minute. So anybody trying spawn peaks, anybody trying run outs, and he's straight on top of it. But 6-4-4 for him on the round, and he finds himself up at the top of the leaderboard. Not just finishing those kills though, so maybe his headshots are a little bit off there, maybe a little bit more time in terrorist hunt required there, X.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
Moving into round number 7, then we will see them switch sides. So this time we're going to have Team Jake heading onto the attack. They have brought the thermite. Not too much use in trophy and kitchen. Obviously is much more use downstairs, but it could well be that they were, planning for that possibility. They haven't got the Hibana, so thermite is still going to be of use to getting upstairs and open the hatch potentially. I'll be interested to see how many of the defenders for Team Law get themselves upstairs here. We did see quite a heavy presence after the first time that Team Jake lost this objective. They did then defend upstairs in numbers. We don't have anybody on the attacking side that's really going to open up too much of that floor. We don't have Sledge, we don't have Buck. So in that sense, it's not too drastic to give up top floor. But obviously they won't be aware of this at that stage. Law getting himself a great spawn peek onto Demo there as the Valkyrie. We can see the Lion scans coming in. This is getting serious. When Lion gets brought, a team is really looking to get themselves around there. Jimothy ripping the head off XR Troika and deleting him out of this round, and out goes the Nitro toss from Law, but it will not connect with anybody. In comes that second Lion scan, much shorter than they were previously, and Law is able to just stand still for the duration of that one. possibly the worst counter available in Siege to an operator's ability. Jimothy stepping up now that he's got himself onto the attack. He's going to take the head off low as well, and that's going to leave us 4 versus 3 in favour of the attackers. So maybe we're just seeing Chalet play out in an attacker favour today, but Lady will manage to get 1. She'll manage to get 2 with the Frost 9mm, and that is a 3rd as well. A great view we have as she just rips them apart. Ralphie moves in with the final kill, and that is going to be map number 2. Chalet going in favour of Team Low with an absolute whitewash, 7-0. Who saw that coming? That round had a real quick switch with Lady Frontbomb coming in and just absolutely taking things apart for her team there. We've seen it. We saw it yesterday. Go 1 apiece. We're coming in to map number 3 now. It's going to be border. It's going to be a cracker, and I'm still going to be here for it. Ace of Pyrite. We're going to take a short 5-minute break. Once again, please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with you. Welcome back, everybody. Ace of Pyrite back with you again for what is going to be our final map of the night. Do not go anywhere because we are in for a treat. I am absolutely certain. We are here for the Rookie Mistakes Community Night on behalf of Ubisoft, and we have got a fantastic game in progress. We've got Team Law being one of the players from Wind and Rain, and they are facing off against Team Jake being one of the players from Swansea University. So far, we've seen them take one map apiece. The first map was Clubhouse. It went in favour of Team Jake, and it was a very close run affair. We saw all 12 rounds, 7-5. The last one, not quite so close run. Team Law came back at that one and said we are not losing in 2. They went 7-0. Absolute whitewash of Team Jake and brought us into the third map here on Border. Now, personally, I think we're going to see a little bit of a closer affair here. I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy. It's a competitive map. It's one they're both going to be familiar with playing, and I think that it's just going to be that little bit tighter. We can see the bans coming in now. We've got Capitao and Montagna to begin with, and they are going to be followed up by the defensive bans. So for anybody who has joined us since the beginning, what we're doing here, we've got Team Law and Team Jake, 2 competitive players, and then their teams have been tricked out with some of the biggest community members from the Siege UK scene, and they're just facing off against each other in what is essentially a show match. We're having a lot of fun. We've had an ace in the first map on Clubhouse. We've had a 7-0 stomp in the second map on Chalet, and which way this is going to go is anybody's guess at this stage. We've got Echo coming in as that third ban there, and then the final defender, I would guess, could potentially be a mirror ban here. It's a very popular ban for Border, and these two at this stage are being very serious about things. There we go. So I'm almost switching back into full competitive mode at this point, because we don't really, we've not had any memeing, we've not had any shotgun rounds, we've only had one knife round at the very beginning, no Tachanka picks, and I think both teams are very, very clearly looking for the win and the bragging rights here. So, moving into round number 1, we will have, who have we got? We've got Team Jake are going to be on the defence, so they'll play the first 6 rounds on the defensive side, and then we've got Team Law coming in on the attack, so they will play on the attack for the first 6, and then we'll switch it up, and they will swap sides, and then they will do another 6 rounds. And I can see it going to 12, to be honest with you. That wouldn't surprise me too much here. We can see even the 6th picks are coming in on both sides now, really trying to play those mind games. We can see Mozzie and Ying being brought in as the surprise packages there. So, we've had a very entertaining game. We've had different players stepping up. Jimothy absolutely went off on Clubhouse, including an ace early in the game and then a 4K slightly later on. He hasn't been able to make the same sort of impact on Chalet. They were pretty much shut down summarily on there. And we saw good games from XR Troika and Low in particular, and Hawk also did some very, very good work on Chalet, getting himself up to that garage breach and getting kills onto the site just to open up the channels that his team needed to go in and get the diffuser down. He just seemed to be everywhere that they needed him to be, every position that they needed him to be in, every angle they needed him to be watching. Hawk seemed to be there to cover it, so great plays from him. We're potentially going to see a run out here from Jimothy, it looks like, possibly on the Mozzie. We'll see how that one plays out. He's certainly got the window open ready, but the spawns will come in largely from the opposite side. He's just using that Valkyrie camera to see if there's any opportunities there, having ripped down the barricade, but there won't be. We can see the defenders all ahead of us on the south side there. So looking at Armory Archives as a site, for those of you not too familiar with competitive Siege, there's 2 real ways to approach and attack this side. So there's 2 big rooms, one in each corner of the map. You can see the first one there very kindly showed to us by our observer. That's the CCTV area, and then in the exact mirror opposite corner of that you've got the office area. So generally speaking, you're going to want to take control of one of those 2 rooms, if not both, if you can achieve it. if you're taking control of CCTV, we can see Lady now is down there as the thermite ready to try and open that double wall on the west balcony. So that's one of the first main approaches, is to try and get that wall open. Now, they know that they're playing against a bandit at the minute, so she's just going to keep juggling those thermite charges just to bait out those bandit batteries, and hopefully Thatcher can catch a few of those for her. And Ralphie has certainly destroyed 2, but Jake will still have, I think, maybe even 3 remaining. So he might only have got 1 there. Jimothy with a good opening kill, headshot onto low. So as I was saying, they're going to try and either open that one. Oh, he will get spotted outside, but Ralphie just can't quite get the angle around that balustrade there, and he will make it back inside safely. Jimothy skating on thin ice there and nearly losing his head, but he will get back in to fight another day. But the call out will have gone, and Hawk should be able to cover that east stairs, and he will get the first kill onto Jeff. Now we'll see if Hawk is indeed covering the flank onto east stairs, and he is. I commented on it before, he's been exactly where his team needs him. He's reacted well to information, and he's covered the flanks well. Ralphie manages to just peek himself around the west balcony door and get a kill, and a well-placed Claymore will get the kill onto Demo, who only manages to get a down onto the thermite of Lady. So that now leaves us in a 3 versus 2. A quick swing of fortune there. Jimothy is back into sight, I believe, but he will get the kill onto Hawk now to clear things out. No, he's coming up the main stairs. He just switched up his roam, and Snedger will get a great kill with that Jaeger carbine from inside the site onto Lady. And once again, things just flip on their head. We are now 1 versus 2 in favour of the defenders. So Ralphie has it all to do here. XR Troika on the Nomad, I think, struggling a little bit this round. I didn't see where his death came in, but doesn't seem to have had too much of an impact. He was one of the impact players from the last game on Chalet, but is Ralphie aware that half wall is a danger? Yes, he is, but it won't matter as Snedger ducks and weaves and manages to get that headshot through to clinch up the first round for the defenders. Now, this is a map that we would expect the defenders to do well on. Armoury Lockers is a very strong defensive site. I would imagine next they're going to be going down to Ventilation and Workshop, which is another very strong defensive site. It will be defended in largely the same way. So this comes back to that first point that I was making about those areas of control that you try to keep upstairs. Office and CCTV in particular are the areas that you're trying to control. In this case, it's the same thing again. You don't want to allow access into the Armoury and Archives area, because then they can start ripping that floor up and they're going to get the vertical kills down into you on site in Ventilation and Workshop. So it's going to be, again, more than likely a top floor defence. That being said, if that's the case, you've got to be careful with it, because you can suffer a rush onto site. They might choose to just go and open the detention wall. They might choose to even just rush in through the single window into Ventilation and get the diffuser down. Yes, they are upstairs. I just lost my bearings for a second there. But Jimothy's up there. He's going to be getting some of his Valkyrie cameras applied up there as well, no doubt. And they're going to, I'm sure, try to hold on to that for as long as possible. I'll be interested to see what they do with the hatches. They've got Legion and they've got Castle there, so they will have impact nades and could potentially open the hatches. It's a bit of it's a risk and reward. You can choose to open the hatches, and it does allow you as defenders to move back to site quite quickly and to give you that rotation. But if you do that and you rotate away and you've already opened the hatches, then you do allow the attackers that line of sight. That being said, they do have Ralphie on the Hibana, so they will be able to open those anyway. I'm a little bit surprised to maybe not see a sledge or a book. If you're thinking about potentially going for top floor control, a sledge or a book can then be extremely useful to start opening those floors up. As it stands, they only really have Jackal with his shotgun. They might have some breaching charges, that's fair to say. Hawk taking some damage there to begin with. And it also looks like Low's taken a few shots as well. So we've currently got about 130 HP missing from the 500 of Team Low. But Jimothy has taken some on the Valkyrie for his trouble as well. So it looks like a bit of a trade-off between him and Low there. We can see Jimothy's just got himself back into sight now. And he's going to start playing as an anchor. He's got Demo joining him on the Legion. We can see we've still got Jake upstairs on the Bandit. He's looking to deny access into the Armoury area. He's got Jeff there with him. And that's the first thing these attackers need to do. If they are going to look at a top floor control, they have to get in and root these two out as quickly as possible. Low is going to do that. I was just going to comment, if Jeff gets seen on the drones, it's a very dangerous position to play, and that is exactly what happened with Low managing to get the kill. Wall bang through the barricade. He now knows where the last is, so that's going to force Jake to move. The pressure is mounting here on all sides of him. He really is not going to be able to move before long. He will take the head off XR Troika. I think that was a wall bang as well, so that is going to be tough to take. Lady will move in and get a return headshot to bring things back in the favour of Team Law. So that is now 4 versus 3 with Snedger out in the customs area, looking to play on the flank potentially and just move in for any late pushes. But at this rate, he might not get the opportunity. We can see we've got one defender. I think it was Jimothy playing in the ventilation area now. Demo will be taken out summarily at the main door, and that's 4 versus 2 at this stage. And time for the attackers to start thinking about getting in and getting a plant, but that might not be necessary as Ralphie gets the kill onto Snedger. Lady will start to get the diffuser down. How about that for a wall bang from Jimothy? Great example of map knowledge there, and in particular site knowledge. Well aware of where that diffuser would be going down. Probably took the sound cue to know that it was doing and took the shots to prevent it. Ralphie will, however, get in, pick that up and start to plant again, but Jimothy will deny once again, and that is 2 out of 4 kills that he needs here, using the nitro cell. Every tool at his disposal he is put into work. The diffuser did go down though. That must have been absolutely fractional, and that could be the saving grace for Team Law here. Had that diffuse plant been stopped, they are then stuck with 2 players upstairs and Jimothy controlling the stairs. As it stands, Jimothy now needs to find these attackers, and he's got about 15 seconds to do so. He's got 1 above him, he's got 1 pushing in from the single door of ventilation as well, just waiting for him to go for that diffuse. He will step out and see Jackal, but going for the hip fire will not pay dividends, and Hawk will just be able to move around and pick him off for that final kill, and that will level us up 1 apiece after round number 2. Coming in to round number 3, we're going to be heading back to Ventilation Workshop. Not too much of a surprise. The other sites on border are much less popular. You've got the customs and stock site, which is a tough one to hold. Again, it's absolutely essential that you keep control of CCTV up above it, and in much the same way, bathroom and tellers is essential that you keep control of office up above it. So both of those tend to be, it's a coin toss as to which it is, but for any given team, that will usually be your 3rd choice site. So having lost on Ventilation Workshop, it is no surprise to see Team Jake heading back there now. Now I like that choice from Demo there, bringing the Pulse. That is a great shout. Pulse offers some really good informational feedback, especially on this map. There's a lot of places you can get close to walls, and you can see where the push is coming from before the attackers even enter the building. There's also a lot of soft floor. In fact, the entire upstairs floor of border, except for the fountain area, is pretty much soft and destructible, other than the balcony areas as well. That aside, you can C4 anywhere on this map, so even though a lot of it looks like tile floors and things like that, they are still destructible. So that's going to give Demo potentially an opportunity as well. If they look for that top floor control again, we might just get to see a vertical nitro toss, which I always love to see. They're absolutely brilliant when they come off. Oh no, it's actually Jimothy, sorry, who's moved on to the Pulse. I think there was a late switch around in operators there possibly. So Demo's on the mute, Jimothy is on the Pulse, but the point stands the same. I will love to see any vertical nitro tosses, and I tell you what, if anybody can do it, we know that it's Jimothy. He's been absolutely gunning so far, so if the opportunity's there, I'm sure he'll take it. We're going to see a quick early entrance here from XR Troika, potentially heading into the tellers area. He's going to be looking to get, I don't know which way he's going to go. He could go into waiting area. I think that is where he's going to go. Or alternatively, he could get himself into bathroom. There's a couple of angles that can be held down from there. Bathroom has been castled off, so that's going to prevent him doing that. He does have breaching charges, so he could open that up. But as it stands, he knows that he needs to be very careful, because if his feet show, then he's going to start taking some damage. But we do have Ibana getting in there. I think that's Ralphie just opening things up and getting that peak hole available into sight. So that's now going going to allow the attacking team to sit in tellers and just wait for those rotations in and around site to pay dividends. And as soon as that movement does go across that opening, things are going to start to get difficult. Lady with a great kill onto Jeff there, and a second onto Snedger, using that murder hole to great effect, dropping down the EMP just to clear out any goomans that might be left in that area for when they need to push onto site. So we can see the way that they have dealt with the top floor roamers here is to actually just ignore them. It's not to interact with them, because the top floor cannot really do much to impact on them at this stage. Jimothy is going to have to look to head back to site very soon. He will pick one up downstairs. Now, can he avoid the metal beams to get the kill here? He's lining himself up, but I think he's hitting the metal beam, and it's difficult to judge that. And that's why I say pulse can be more useful from below, because you have the option of the nitro toss going vertically then. As it is, he's feeding information into his team. Jake is upstairs as well. I'd like to see the attackers moving in and thinking about getting a plant down here, but they do need to be very aware of that top floor control that the defenders have still got. And the fact that they are so tentative about getting this diffuser down shows how important top floor control can be to this site. So Hawk will get the kill onto... Sorry, everything just got out of hand there with the double kill coming in from low at the end to finish things off. Hawk got himself a good kill, but then that was evened up by Demo and Jimothy, and then Low just managed to move himself up, and that's exactly what was needed. The IQ there just moving into office, getting into that top floor and mixing things up was absolutely essential there. Moving into round number 4 then, we've got even kills across the board. XR Troika struggling a little bit here. He's on 003 at the minute. He's not quite at the 007 stage yet, but that's mirrored by Jeff on the other side, and we can see the kills across the team very even so far, just edging favour in slightly of Team Low. We're going to be heading back upstairs now, so that's not too much of a surprise to see us going back to Armoury and Archives, given that we've just lost ventilation and lockers twice in a row. I'm sure that Team Jake are keen to mix things up. They don't want to be banging their head against the wall, and now that for anybody who doesn't know, we've got a 2-round rotation parameter on here, so once you win any of these sites, you have to play 2 rounds elsewhere as defenders before you're allowed to go back to them. So you can't just keep chaining sites, you know, chaining rounds together on one site that you can win. So they're going to now head back, given that they've had 2 clear rounds since winning Armoury lockers. Again, you know, if this is the only one that they manage to pick up on the defence, that's going to leave them 4 versus 2 behind coming in at the switch. And that's not going to be easy for them going on to the attack, because then really the defensive side of Team Low are only going to need to win 1 off-site round, because they're going to be able to take, you would expect, 2 rounds. This is a horrible peak. Jimothy just opening up that one lat of the barricade there, and he's going to wait for anybody who has spawned on that west side. But I think he is not going to have any joy here. We can see the Thatcher of Lady just walking slowly up there, but she's not going to go around at a far enough angle to one side to mean that she is seen there. Jimothy still holding on to this, and I tell you what, persistence might just pay off here as he waits and waits and waits. At this point he can probably hear them, but in come the shots from Low. What a kill onto Jimothy. Whether he recognised that on drone or was just aware of it as a spot, maybe he'd already seen that the lat had been knocked out on the drone or something, I don't know, but he has absolutely deleted Jimothy. That is a good night for sure. And that leaves us 5 versus 4 in favour of the attackers here. We've still got Jeff downstairs on the roam. He's going to have to be careful that he doesn't get himself cut off. We can hear the Thatcher EMPs going off upstairs, so that is going to be an attempt, I'm sure, to open that west wall. We can see Jackal moving in there. He's got his Inox active. He needs to be careful that that doesn't take his eye away from the line of sight onto Valkyrie there. But he will get the scan, and XR Troika will move in, get his first kill of the game, and that is great teamwork between the Nomad and the Jackal there. In comes the track, and then in comes the kill. XR Troika taking the head off Demo. Ralphie will get an unfortunate team kill onto Lady as they both try to challenge Jake. Jake does take some damage and can't get the second bandit down as Ralphie moves in, steps into sight and gets the kill. That leaves us 1 versus 4. Snedger will get the first that he needs, but he's going to need another 3. He's had to switch over to the Deagle, and he won't get time for a reload on his automatic as Ralphie moves in and gets that kill in sight. impact. And that leaves us with Team Law taking the 4th round and going 3-1 ahead. And I tell you what, this is starting to look like it could be a little bit of a runaway for Team Law. We already saw this on Chalet. Once they got ahead, it just seems like, I don't know, in the first round where they were, in the first map, on Clubhouse, where Team Law were being challenged, they just seemed maybe a little bit more sort of substantial in the resolve to that, and they didn't let it get on top of them when they lost a round or two, and they kept fighting back. Team Jake seem to be struggling a little bit more with that. Once they lose a couple of rounds, it seems to start getting into a bit of a chain, and they allow Team Law to start getting some momentum there. But we'll see how that continues as we head into round number 5. We're going to see another attempt at Armory and Archives here. Now, I think the problem there was that the downstairs was cleared out very, very well. I think Jimothy being taken out at the single window to the side of main door there really did them no favours at all. I don't know whether that was down to a drone or a pre-fire or, you know, what that was, just pre-fire in a common spot potentially. But Law was certainly aware of it and absolutely put him to bed on that one. So that then left the Jackal to move in freely, got the track onto the Valkyrie. XR Troika was in a position ready to just pick up the kill onto Jeff and did so. And from there, it was a pretty slippery slope for Team Jake at 3 versus 5. Snedger made a good effort to get that first kill at 1 versus 4, but he just wasn't able to make any further. So we'll see how they change things up here, whether they maybe choose to play them operators downstairs again or not. Maybe they choose to get everybody upstairs and just give up the downstairs control. There's not too much that can be done downstairs. The one thing that you're looking to defend really is Bandit. You don't want people moving in. You can move in just outside of ventilation through the double door, that's sort of main door. If you move in through there with the shotgun of Jackal, you can open up the floor and clear the bandits off without too much of a problem. So they will, I'm sure, want to be avoiding that. Ralphie on the drone now, taking a look through CCTV. It's looking pretty clear from what I can see. So, as I said, that's going to be a room that they want to take control of. But have they seen Jeff hiding away in break room there? That's the question. Are they aware of him? Because if they start to move in to CCTV whilst he's still there, that could be a serious danger. And if they don't clear him out, where's Ralphie's drone going now? Is he going to check the corner? Is he going to be thorough enough? Yes, he is, and he knows that he's there. Now, that could be a bad ping. You've always got to... Maybe not. I didn't realise how quickly Lady had moved in there. Lady and Ralphie showing great teamwork there. Ralphie on the drone, and I thought he just fired the ping up to show Valk's location. I didn't realise that Lady was so close to being in a position to make an immediate impact there. So I thought that it was basically going to lose them the opportunity because Valk was going to move away from there after being pinged, but that was not the case at all. We've got 2 quick kills that come in as well. Another one for Lady. She's on an absolute tear this game, and that now leaves us 5 versus 3. Jake will step out and get the headshot to shut down Lady, so that will leave us 5 versus 2. 4 versus 2, sorry, with Ralphie getting a kill onto Snedger. Jake gets a second onto Ralphie, and that leaves us 3 versus 1 at this stage. Time to think about that diffuser, but they won't need to, as Law moves in with the pistol and gets the kill onto Jake, and that is another kill going in favour of his team, and Law is absolutely starting to go off and dominate here, showing what quality competitive players we really have here in the UK. So, taking a quick look at the scoreboard, we can see Law climbing his way up there, 6 kills to 2 deaths, and that's something that's important as well. We can see Hawk on 3 and 1. The point I want to make there is sometimes the deaths can be just as important as the kills, and if we take a look at it, we've completed 5 rounds, and so that's 10 potential deaths for Law and Hawk there if both were to die in every single round. As it stands, they've only died 3 times, so that's 30% of those potential deaths that they have taken. They've avoided 70% of them. And that can be so crucial to your team to keep those figures down. Sometimes if you're having a tough game, that's the one thing that you've got to focus on. It's just that survivability. We look at a rating in Siege quite often called cost, which is basically a rating of how often within a round you either get a kill, you play the objective, you survive the round, or you make a trade. Your death is traded out, so you die in a suitable position without being out on your own. And survivability is in there. Every time you survive, that would count as a successful round in terms of cost, and that is a great measurement of just how important that is. You know, it's something that we rely on right up to the top level of Pro League, and yeah, it's you know, it is very, very important to keep yourself on the map. We can see Demo here. I think he's looking for some big plays now, and his team are going to need it. He is on the SMG-11, and he's just waiting for these spawned attackers to appear. I think he's looking for the potential jump out there, but Lloyd's just hiding himself in behind that white van, as his lady. She is well aware, so again, I think that's great droning, and she just puts the shots up there just to give a little warning to whoever it is. You don't want to pop your head out of here, because we are ready to pop it for you. And then Demo is just going to rotate himself back into sight there through the single doors, so that is probably a smart move on his part, because otherwise I think he was well watched. We've got Snedger just holding an angle there from Archives onto one of the single windows, I think it is there. Just waiting for anybody who wants to have a peek through, but there won't be anybody. XR Triker has got himself good control of East Stairs there, and we can see Hawk is the man up on the skylight, just holding down any rotates on that balcony potentially. Ralphie gets a little peek of somebody's head in sight there, but he won't be able to actually put any shots onto them. Jake is going to electrify that second wall, and they just, again, one thing that they have done very well here, Team Jake, is to keep that wall intact. They haven't allowed it to be opened yet, and that has been a great job on the part of Jake, just to keep those bandit batteries in place. Out goes the Claymore. We've already seen that used to good effect so far. Demo will protect his teammate with a kill onto Lady whilst she moves in and tries to take the bandit out. It's the only way they know, and Demo steps out with a second. He's on a tear this round. Is there going to be more for him? He still has his full health. He still has the SMG-11. Jake gets the kill onto Hawk, so that will now, for the first time in a good few rounds, swing things in favour of Team Jake. This is now 5 versus 2. We've got Low and we've got XR Triker, Ash and Nomad with it all to do here, and so far I think they've just come to a little bit of a stall. We can see XR Triker and Demo coming together there. Demo will get the down onto X, but he's going to move away just to fight another day. Low will be able to come in and get him picked up, I think. Demo just rotating back through sight, maybe wanting to attack this from a different angle to look at getting the finish there. I think he was moving himself into officers, but XR Triker and Law are going to buddy up now and work as a duo so that they can at least potentially get the trade if needs be. As they move in, Law will get the kill onto Snedger. He will not get the second as his shots are just a bit too high on Jake, and Demo will come in with a revenge kill onto XR Triker there. I think we are now at 5 kills to 3 between those two. I'm amazed at how often they're actually coming together, but Demo will be victorious that time. We can see 7 kills apiece there for Ralphie and Law, so they are doing very well for their team in the attacking phase. But now, moving on to the defence, they have got themselves an advantage at 4-2. There is a lot of siege to be played yet, let me tell you. I mean, the advantage as it stands is with Team Law. We are 1 map apiece. Of course, with the first map going to Team Jake, that was on Clubhouse, and then the second map going to Team Law on Chalet with a 7-0 whitewash. So whoever wins this map is going to take the second title of Rookie Mistakes Community Night winner, and that, believe me, is very important. We've had a lot of interesting people wanting to play in this match today, and it really has captured the imagination a little bit. So these guys are definitely going to want to come away with that title, and I'm sure both Hawk and Snedger on opposite sides tonight, who played last night, will be wanting to come away defending the title that they picked up last night on Team Western. Placed. Coming into round number 7 then. For the first time, we're going to see the teams swap around. We've got XR Triker on the bandit there, so it's going to be his job to keep that west balcony wall closed. We'll see if he does quite as good a job as Jake did. Jake was absolutely solid on there as the bandit. I don't think they got the wall opened once. We can see that they have brought the thermite. We've got Jimothy on the thermite there this time, and they've got Jeff on the Thatcher, so I'm sure we are going to be seeing a west push here. I would quite like them to maybe mix it up, get themselves into offense office and open up the reinforced wall that goes into archives. It gives you a nice route to plant behind the bomb where you've got quite a lot of protection. If you can play somebody out in fountain, it really does help you out. Low coming in with a great early kill. The captain's facing off there, and Low will be victorious as he gets the first kill for his team, and that's now the defenders 5 versus 4. We can see Low in this very important CCTV area, but he will be cleared out by Demo, who moves in with the SMG-11 of Sledge and gets the kill onto Low, so that will free things up for his team to start getting the map control that they need. Jimothy is going to be moving round towards that west balcony as well, so this is certainly a west push that we are going to be seeing, but will they be able to deal with the bandit? We can see the utility being tossed in there now just to clear out those ADSs and stop them being functioning. That one will sneak through, though it looked like there was still an ADS on the ground, but the flashbangs will come in. We can see Demo just applying a pressure to that small office area there, and in comes the Thatcher grenade and in comes the thermite charge, but XR Troika is going to be there to get it onto the wall. It will not clear the thermite charge, so first round of trying, we're going to have the attackers opening up the west balcony wall. Snedger meanwhile gets a kill on to Lady, taking her off the board, and that now leaves us 4 versus 3 with an age of time left on the board. 1 minute 30 left to go. The attackers have got plenty of time to start sectioning off this objective and getting themselves in for a plant. Demo with a nade kill onto XR Troika. I'm sure he will have enjoyed that one. Demo on a tear this round with 3 kills to his name, goes for the 4th, but he won't get it as Hawk shuts him down. That's the first of 4 that Hawk needs. 1 versus 3 at this stage. Snedger is low on health, but Hawk has got an absolute mission on his hands here. He's going to need to get 3 kills. He has the majority of his health, and the goo mines are doing him some good as well, with Jeff now taking some damage, and we can see we've got 2 operators are probably not too far away from a goo mine from death, and Hawk will get the first kill onto Snedger. Can he get the second? Yes, he will get the second onto Jeff, so that now leaves him in a 1 versus 1 with the diffuser down. He is the rappel. He knows that Jimothy's on the rappel. Will he go for the kill? He does, but Jimothy will be able to finish it off. I think Hawk was in 2 minds there. He really wanted to jump over that balcony, and I think if he does, he probably gets the kill. But in terms of the time left on the diffuser, I don't think he then had the time to get himself back upstairs and to disarm that diffuser. So it was the right decision from him to challenge as he did, but I think it was almost painful to watch. I think we just saw Hawk caught in 2 minds there. He was on his pistol. He knew he wanted to change back to his primary weapon, and he just moved out at the wrong time, and it allowed Jimothy to pick up that upside down rappel kill, and great plays from him after getting the diffuser down to protect that, because I tell you what, when it goes from a 1 versus 3 to a 1 versus 1, that's when you start asking questions of yourself. Looking into round number 8 then. We are currently 5 versus 5, of course, but the point that I was making there is who is going to come in with the first kill. It's been so important so far, has the first kill in these rounds. Hawk's had a good few to his name throughout the night in general. We've seen more aggression from Team Law here. It does tend to be Team Law coming in with the first kills, and that marries up with the fact that they are ahead on the map. As I said, those first kills have been so important, playing at a man advantage, and the thing about Team Law is they seem to be following them up with a second kill quite quickly as well, so quite often they're coming into the rounds at 5 versus 3, and it does make their life a little bit easier. But I'm sure that Team Jake are going to want to start picking up a few rounds here. We can see Lady just getting herself hidden underneath the window there. She's basically picking where she thinks somebody might enter into the building, and she's going to wait with that cav shotgun, which is an absolute menace at short range, to see if she can pick anybody up. We've got Demo heading up to the air conditioning units. He's potentially going to have a look in through those windows. No, he's moved away now. He's going to be heading for CCTV. We are attacking Armory and Archives again, so it's going to be a similar take by the looks of things. It looks like they're heading for the west wall, CCTV control, and then get themselves in through the breached double wall. They will, of course, have to breach that double wall in order to do it. I'm sure XR Troika is not going to want to die to a nade from Demo again. from my latest count, I think we're now at 5 versus 4, so one more kill for Demo would actually level things up in the X versus Demo stakes as well. So we can see the ADS is currently being burnt there with the flashbangs and the last one making it in. I think X just shielding himself, looking into the corner there. Out comes the Thatcher, on goes the Thermite. Will X be able to get this trick off? Yes, he will this time, and he avoids the nades. That was some seriously fancy footwork, and it's time to start juggling them around, but he's going to have to move away as Jake gets himself underneath with the book and will clear things off. Now, I think Jimothy might have just lost his second charge there. I don't know if that was to an impact nade or what quite happened, but Ralphie will get the kill onto Jimothy. XR Troika meanwhile gets one onto Jeff, putting the MP5 to work. Demo will step in and level things up. 5 apiece between those two now as he gets the kill onto XR Troika with a headshot. That leaves us 4 versus 3, and I tell you what, this map has just absolutely come to life. We saw the whitewash on Chalet, and I was worried that we were going to have another one-sided map here, as this match just didn't deserve it, but it's clear that that is not going to be the case. Lady making a nuisance of herself, gets the shotgun kill onto Demo, and nearly follows with another one onto Jake. We've got Snedger down, and Ralphie steps out for the kill onto Jake. Lady's kill on Snedger is therefore finished, and that will be the round going in favour of Team Low. A successful defence of Armoury Archives there did a much better job of keeping that west wall clear and blocked up, reinforced, and that will now push them down to Ventilation Workshop at 5-3. One more round and they will find themselves on match point here, and they will be looking to take all the marbles in this community night matchup. So, Ventilation Workshop, not too much of a surprise to see Castle being brought. He does offer some great utility here. You can potentially use it to extend Bathroom to be part of your site, so you castle off the single door in Bathroom, use an impact nade on the soft wall, and it just saves you 3 reinforcements that you don't have to use between Bathroom and the site. You only need 1 on that wall then, so your other reinforcements can be used elsewhere, potentially on hatches, etc. He may choose not to do that. You can also choose to completely reinforce that back wall, and you can use your castle barricades elsewhere, sometimes upstairs, to actually slow down the progress from upstairs. As it is, he is going to castle off the Bathroom, and we'll see a good example of what I was telling you now. So the rotation has been opened, and you just use that as a little bit of an extension to site. There will still probably be a couple of castles that go upstairs as well, because you don't want to give up early control. So he's going to place one on the ventilation window, which again is not a bad shout, so you don't suffer that speed plant of somebody just rushing in there. And then his last one will be used at will, probably upstairs somewhere. I think maybe on this single door. And that's a good shout again. It just slows that progress down of them trying to take over Armoury and Archives. So it's basically what you're trying to do here. Trying to delay the defenders for as long as you can do with Castle. Anybody new to using Castle, I definitely suggest, you know, checking out some videos and having a look at the way the pros use him. He can be an operator that can be extremely powerful in a team setting, but he can also do a lot of damage to your team if those castles are put in the wrong place, particularly on side doors and things like that. We see Demo coming in, making an early challenge onto Lady. He's really doing some work with that SMG-11. He's absolutely come to life on this map as Demo, and he gets the first kill, taking the Legion off the board. And that's important for more than one reason, because Legion's utility is based on time, and those goo mines are generated over time, up to a maximum of 8 throughout the round. So probably only 2 or 3 of those have been placed, and no more will be throughout this round. So that is a big hit early on if you're going to lose any of your defenders. Seems like the attackers have got some good control over the customs and detention area here, so they are largely ignoring the top floor, which is another option. If you know that it's being held, you can just ignore it, and it does potentially take 2 or 3 players out of the game whilst they're upstairs and you're just rushing in towards site. But it is always tricky to get into site when the vertical angles are being held. So we can just see it feels like the attackers have just stalled out a little bit here. We are down to 1.5 minutes now, and they've still got quite a bit of work to be done, and they're not really making too much progress towards site. But what I would suggest is that they're on the drones, and they're just trying to get the information together so that they can pick up kills like that. Demo getting a headshot onto Hawk. That's his second on the round, and that leaves him now, though, about 20 HP. So he has taken some damage in the process. We can see a battle going on here between XR, Troika, and Snedger. Snedger certainly coming out on top of it so far, and he will deploy those gridlock traps to try and tie things up. There was a ping for where the defuse was going down, but it was behind a hard surface that wouldn't allow the shots to go through. We do see 2 kills for Team Law, but we do see 1 in response from Team Jake. Another one for Ralphie there. That's 2 on the round and leaves us 2 versus 2. But the advantage is still with Team Jake, being that the diffuser is down. Jake will get the first kill that he needs onto Law there. Captain versus Captain. And that was a nice headshot. Ralphie is on an absolute sliver of health and a dream here. We can see Thermite, Jimothy just opening up that castle barricade to give another line of sight to defend this diffuser. He has to get onto this any second now. I don't think as it stands he's even going to have time. Ralphie gets the kill onto Jake. He has no choice but to go for the diffuser, and as soon as he does, Jimothy picks up the kill from on top of the white bus through the window that he'd opened up. Great plays from him, showing some great map knowledge there. That's an angle that you can take away from you if you've never seen that before. And what a great round from Team Jake there to get in, get the diffuser down, and do the job they needed to. Sometimes focusing on the objective is all that you need to do. And that brings them back within touching distance. 5-4 now in favour of Team Law. We can see Ralphie having a real game there. 12-7 for him. Law coming out 9-5 as well. But Demo stepping things up a notch. 11-8. He's taken quite a few deaths, but he is certainly doing the work before he does. And I think that's indicative of the way in which he's doing it. He is absolutely not scared of gunfights, and he is going into them very, very hard at the minute. And he's taking damage as he does, but he is walking away with the kills. And that is what his team needs. It just needs somebody to step up. And when you get in a team, when you've got a player like that who's going in and getting frags, it just increases the pace of things for your team. Because sometimes when you're losing, things just get a little bit down on the comms, everybody gets a little bit quiet, and sometimes you just need that energy level bringing up. You need that hype guy, and it doesn't always have to be vocally that you've got that hype coming in. Sometimes you just need somebody who's going to step up, and he's just going to get a few kills and fire the team up, and that is what Demo is doing very well at the moment. We can see Lady on the Frost there, just placing down some of those mats. I'm not too sure. I like the Elite Frost. I'm just not too sure on the new version of the traps that you get. They seem awfully visible compared to the other ones with the big teeth sticking out of them. But we'll see if anybody gets caught up in any of those Frost maps. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm an absolute nightmare for going into them. I'm pretty sure that whatever I'm made of is magnetic towards Frost traps without a doubt. Because if there's one on the map, I will find it. Demo then once again showing that aggression, heading straight towards the armory lockers. He is sledged, so he will be able to open that castle barricade nice and easily. Lady is going to have to be careful here. She is the barricade go, but will not be able to react quick enough to the aggression of Demo as he just steams in with the SMG-11 and gets the first kill of the round again to fire his team up and send them towards leveling this up for the first time on board. A Demo with another kill that puts him on 13 for the map, and that will be Law's head that has gone missing. Demo opening up the hatches, which have not been reinforced as well, and that will allow Jake in there now with the book to start putting that skeleton key to work and tearing the floor up. We can see Hawk there just trying to take these drones out, but they are everywhere. It must be like trying to play with wasps in the objective. He's just got drones buzzing around him all over the place, pings coming out left, right and centre, and they've got Sledge and Buck up above them. This is not a comfortable location, let me tell you. It looks like a couple of the attackers now have bailed over the side and will be heading downstairs to support Jimothy in getting the diffuser down, which is happening right now and will stick. Hawk with a very unfortunate team kill kill on to XR Troika. Will kill the planting Jimothy, but not before that diffuser has been activated. Ralphie with a kill onto Jake, but Hawk will be downed by some sort of explosive. I'm not sure what it was. I think it was a nade, and that now leaves us in an effective 1 versus 3. Demo is going to hold down that ventilation window, and he's just going to wait this out because he knows that Ralphie has no choice but to be getting in there and either trying to pick Hawk up or going for the defuse. We can see Jeff just taking a leaf out of Jimothy's book there. I'm sure he's on the comms instructing him where to go, and he's just going to get up on the white bus to hold that angle onto the diffuser. Snedger it is who will get that final kill on Knock, taking out the Jaeger, and that will be the round, leveling things up. And I tell you what, this match did not deserve anything less than 12 rounds, and that is exactly what we are going to get here. Whoever wins this one will have the opportunity to win the map going on to match point, but whoever wants to win it is going to need 2 in a row now, or we will be heading into overtime. And I've said it plenty of times before, when it's a close match like this, I really hate to see anybody get run out of it. I love to see it come towards the final round or two like this, because it's what it deserves. It really deserves that grandstand finish where everybody is just absolutely desperate to win. You know, we've had no suggestion of shotgun rounds. We've had no messing about. I'm sure there's plenty of banter going on in the chat between these two teams. We can see, you know, straight away, as soon as we're into the round, everybody is off. They're like ants. They're just straight out there towards their task for the team, doing what they need to do. They've obviously got a plan in mind, and everybody knows their part of it, and they definitely want to be coming away with the bragging rights and with the win here. So we're getting a Vigil in for the first time. Now Vigil, I think, can be a very powerful operator on border. He can hide his visual signature. He can hide from drones. So whilst the drone does get a warning that Vigil is in the area, it's not always clear exactly where he is, because you can drone through a room that's got him in and he will be completely invisible. So that's something you've always got to be careful of. And what Vigil tends to do, he's a great time wasting operator. He's just going to hold off the attackers being able to move into an area, because they're being told that he's there, but they don't know exactly where he is. Jimothy coming in with an extremely important first kill on to the Vigil, though. As I said, the main operator there that was going to be able to slow things down along with the Legion of Lady, but straight off the board, and that is exactly what Team Jake need here. They just seem to have found another level of focus in the last 20 minutes or so, and they just really are starting to pick the kills up. Ralphie playing with death there as he moves across to get behind half wall, but it was swift enough that he won't lose his head to it. We can see grenades coming in from Demo there, but it won't be enough as the Lady S is still in play. Lady getting a great kill onto Jimothy. Headshot from the Legion. We now have 2 in behind the wall, XR Troika and Ralphie. That is very, very dangerous. We've got Lady pinned back in the small office here, and Demo will get the kill onto her, but not before XR Troika takes Jake off the board, so that will be the book down. The wall has been opened now, so this is not going to be easy for the defenders, but we are 3 versus 3 here. It is all to play for. We've got the thermite charge on the wall, but thermite is in the ground at the moment and won't be able to activate it. Demo moves in with a very aggressive approach onto XR Troika and will get the headshot, but Hawk manages to trade that straight back out once again. Importantly, exactly where his team needs him, exactly when they need him, and just trades that out so that they don't lose control of the site. As it is, the diffuser is down in sight. The attackers don't have control of it. We've got Jeff and Snedger. I'm sure there's plenty going on in the comms to try and direct them in to get control of this site. There is a minute left to go. There is plenty of siege to be played yet in this round, but they know that they can't rush for that diffuser. Hawk takes their head off Snedger as he tries to move across, and that is exactly why they can't just move in and go for this diffuser. All of a sudden the momentum completely swings, and Ralphie will get the kill onto Jeff, and that is round number 11 going to the blue team. This is absolutely unbelievable. Team Law taking the advantage there. This really does just go back and forward. It's as if this match is on a rubber band, just bouncing around all over the place with who has the advantage. Coming into the final round now, we've got only one option for this to end here and now, and that will be for Team Law to step it up and to come and finish things off. 14-8 for Ralphie there. Got himself some more on the round. Demo doing everything he can for his team at 15-9, and I'm pretty sure I'm right in this without going back and watching everything. I think with that aggressive kill that he got on X last round, that actually takes him ahead in the XV Demo Caster stakes as well. Caster versus Caster. I think Demo now has 6 kills on X to only 5 in return. So we'll see if those two come back together in this final round.
Attackers need to locate and
I am
defuse
absolutely on the edge of my seat for this one. To be fair, I'm just about due to fall off my seat. I've been on the edge of my seat for a long time, and I think having won that round, it seems we're going to bathroom tellers. Now, this is a bold choice, and I think what's gone on here, I think this is just an opportunity to think that's the last thing that Team Jake are going to expect. So let's not play into what they can plan for. Let's not play into what they can bring operators for. Let's do something a bit different.
10 seconds left before insertion.
I'm not sure how this one's going to play out. It's not too much of a surprise because they've struggled down in ventilation and workshop. We've had the diffuser planted a couple of times and successfully defended as well. So it's no surprise that they want to mix it up. Bathroom and tellers can be a difficult one. They really do need to keep some good control over office. They need to protect that hatch and stop it being opened up because it's directly down into site and it covers an awful lot of the site as well. So in terms of getting a plant down, the hatch can be very, very important. We can see we've had one of the barricades knocked out there, so Demo's just going to get himself around the corner. We've got Castle upstairs just castling off the archive area. Again, as I say, you can see how much utility's been used up there. We've got the bandit batteries on the wall. We've got at least 3 reinforcers up there. We've got a rotation opened up. We've got the first kill coming in from Hawk onto Snedger. He's going to use that super shorty to do it after getting him down, and that leaves us 5 versus 4. Early advantage going to Team Law here. Will they be able to keep this running? You can see they've actually opened the hatch for themselves there. That's how powerful that hatch is. They can just keep control of sight from there, but Demo will move in, get the first kill onto Lady Law. However, will get an important kill onto Demo there. Will take some serious damage on the castle, but that is exactly what his team needed. Jimothy, however, will move in and get that kill onto Law, finishing things off. So that is now 3 versus 3. This round sums up this match perfectly. Who knows which way it's going to go? I have absolutely no idea, but the attackers now have top floor control. Jimothy is starting to open that floor up in strategic locations. He knows what lines of sight he wants. He knows how he's going to get them, and he does get them down onto the Mozzie. That's going to be a kill onto Hawk. Meanwhile, we can see that Jake has been down, so somebody has come up. XR Triker is on the flank. He doesn't know that the wall bang is a possibility, but he does wait, and he will get a second down. He doesn't know necessarily that he's got 2 down now on the far side of that wall. Out comes the nitro cell, and that will finish 1 off, getting Jake. Jimothy, however, will move in and get the kill onto X. He will be able to pick up the down Jeff, so that now leaves us in a quick swing, 2 versus 1. Ralphie, top fragger for Team Law during this map, though, has just to hold on for 45 seconds and he will win this one out for his team. But 45 seconds is an absolute eternity in terms of what he needs to do. He's got himself positioned well. He's just outside of the teller's windows. He's in the waiting area. He should be able to hear from there if there is a drop or if the plant attempt comes in. If that drone comes far enough though, they now know exactly where he is, so he's going to have to relocate. They're watching the windows from upstairs, but this is all playing into Ralphie's hands to close this out. With 15 seconds left, the attackers are going to have to start rushing onto site. And that is when mistakes are made. The wall gets opened. Ralphie's positioned himself well. He sees the first drop and he gets the kill. If he holds himself back here, he knows that the diffuser has to stick. He knows where it's going down. He just needs to wait. He makes the challenge and he gets the kill. And that's going to allow Ralphie to move in, get the diffuse and win things for Team Law. What a round. What a match. That has been some of the most entertaining Siege that I've seen, I'll say, since last night, because that was fantastic as well. But what What an advert for the community nights that we've put on over the last couple of days. Absolutely fantastic plays. I was on the edge of my seat throughout that round. We had the great plays from XR Troika, getting the double down behind the soft wall, finishing one off with the nitro, but then Jimothy came in and swung it around, and that round just really did sum up the whole match for me. We can see there the players across the scoreboard having an absolute field day. There was kills for everybody. I think Jeff just struggled a little bit on that last map, but he certainly played his part covering a couple of the plants, and that will be the win going to Team Law. Law coming, of course, from Wind and Rain, so that's our competitive players. Horus and Wind and Rain have won both nights, so I'm sure you've all had an entertaining time watching those matches as much as I have. I'm sure you could hear that from me at the end there, and that was absolute edge of the seat stuff. Please do make sure that you follow the Twitch, follow over on Twitter. Hopefully it's something that we can see back again in the future. I know there's been an immense positive response to it. Everybody has enjoyed this, and it's been really good to see some of the different community members getting involved in competitive games, casters, org owners. We've had YouTubers, streamers, everything getting involved, mixing in with the competitive players and just having a field day, getting that opportunity to play on the main stage as it was. It's been a pleasure for me. As always, thank you for having me here. I really do appreciate it. It's been a real honour to do this one, and what a lot of fun we've had as well. So hopefully you'll see me again in future. Ace of Pyrite signing off from this one. Thank you for watching the Rookie Mistakes Community Nights from Ubisoft, and we'll see you next time.